Hey guys, we should be live right now. A lot of interesting things are happening. First and foremost, the TRO. The TRO has been signed. That means Reckless Ben can now publish Part 3. According to, and also interesting enough, remember, so we'll wait a little bit in time. They also got Victor on the TRO as well. So I thought that was kind of an interesting side note, is now Victor can speak. Victor was previously silenced as well. Oh, hey, BBQ, yeah, Freedom Day. So BBQ has a video on this as well. I just looked at BBQ's video. I'm trying to get chat to load. Okay, whatnot. Man, these people must be making a ton of money on whatnot. Jeez. So BBQ has a video. BBQ's in chat. He has a video. Oh, it's right here. So I do not need to be subscribed to BBQ for his video to pop up. We'll take a look at what he has to say. Now, this is the order granting the joint motion for preliminary injunction. As BBQ has said, no money is going either direction. Based on the parties' joint motion for modification of the TRO and entry of preliminary injunction, the motion, and for good cause, the court hereby grants the parties' motions and modifies the TRO previously entered in the 4th District Court of the State of Utah. That was with Tony Graff, and enters the following preliminary injunction. Plaintiffs allege that they are suffering and will continue to suffer immediate and irreparable injury before this action can be fully heard, as set forth in the verified complaint and motion for the TRO. Defendants dispute these allegations, intend to assert counterclaims against plaintiffs, and contest plaintiffs' entitlement to any relief, including but not limited to a permanent injunction. Plaintiffs likewise dispute defendants' counterclaims. Despite these differences, the parties have agreed to mediate the case, and in light of this, the court enters the following preliminary injunction. Defendant agrees that they, their affiliates, employees, contractors, agents, and representatives, and anyone acting in concert with them, directly or indirectly, in person, remotely, or online, are immediately restrained from making, transmitting, soliciting, encouraging, and or facilitating death threats, bomb threats, or other threats of physical violence, and or knowingly and intentionally engaging in property destruction, stalking, trespass, interference, extortion, personal injury, or property damage against plaintiffs, their independent franchisees, employees, and officers, owners, customers, attorneys, vendors, or family members. Publishing or encouraging others to publish personal addresses, personal phone numbers, personal email addresses, family information, or other doxing information of any kind regarding plaintiffs' personnel, franchisees, owners, or employees. Entering, remaining at, filming, blocking access to, or approaching within a defined distance not less than 100 yards. That's basically a football field. Plaintiffs or their franchisees, store officers, offices, warehouses, franchise locations, parking areas, employee homes, or franchisee homes. This was kind of what the Tony Graff was saying was maybe too broad. Is like how would Reckless Ben and friends know like where they live? Well, according to Bricks and Minifigs, they can just look it up online. Hereafter, except through counsel, lawful services of process or court-approved activities. It's kind of interesting, like how much information that everyone has online, like including your address, where you live, that the court would just be like, oh, yeah, that sounds good to me. You can just get their information online. Impersonating plaintiffs, any franchisee, law enforcement, a court officer, a delivery service, a customer, a government entity, employees, or any other third party to obtain signatures, access, statements, employee information, audio, video recording. What's going on here? Customer information and or to effectuate an interference or business disruption, touching, altering, covering, defacing, or placing signage. So basically no protesting. So they don't want people to protest in front of the store. Placing signage or any other form of communication affecting plaintiffs or their franchisees' physical property, physically blocking, deterring, or interfering with customers, employees, vendors, or delivery personnel. This is the whole UPS thing, or USP, depending on who you ask. Doing business with plaintiffs or their franchises in any way, including entering or... So basically, they're going to take this back to their franchisees and say, hey, look what a good job we did for you guys. Yeah, bear with me. I'm still, like, sick. I don't know. I feel a lot better today, but I'm still, like, a little bit under the weather. Soliciting plaintiffs' employees, franchisees, or contractors to leak confidential information, record inside store. So this is the MS Bricks thing. I think it would be pretty interesting if somebody... But, of course, like, they know that the glasses are coming, right? The Meta glasses. I think it would be interesting if like somebody updated and figured out what the current and the downturn that is bricks and minifigs, what the current payout would be. Is it still at 6%? Has it gone up a little bit? Has it gone down a little bit? Obtain phone numbers or private information or create or participate in staged confrontations. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that, right? Subject to the foregoing, nothing in this order shall prohibit defendants from discussing plaintiffs, commenting on this litigation. Okay, so this is why they traded it. So they traded all of this for this. So that's all. So Bricks and Minifigs gets number 1, and Reckless Ben gets number 2. But remember, it's not just Reckless Ben. They also silenced Victor Nguyen. Victor Nguyen was also silenced in this, just kind of as a side note. Subject to the foregoing, nothing in this order shall prohibit defendants from discussing plaintiffs, commenting on this litigation, publishing court filings, engaging in investigative journalism. That's a good one. Expressing opinions, criticism, satire, or commentary through any lawful means or methods they choose, including but not limited to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, podcasts, and or internet, television, video, and social media platforms. Now, this is what we were talking about previously, right? So, plaintiffs, which would be Bricks and Minifigs, are not required to pay security as a bond at this time. So at this point in time, plaintiffs, Bricks and Minifigs, remember in the Tony Graph, they also didn't pay security. So what Legal Mindset and Lego Empire did was really muddy the waters. I think their information was inaccurate. I hope they made the mistake out of, just being lazy, I guess, or not understanding. So Lego Empire is not a lawyer, and Legal Mindset, it doesn't seem like he actually watched the Patreon video. He just basically saw Lego Empire make a video, and then he jumped on that video because then he reacted to that video. And so again, that video, if you made the video, you would get hundreds of thousands, 500,000 views, right? But it's not right. It's not right. So where's the money coming from? The money would be coming from this security as a bond that the plaintiff would have to pay. But as we know, it literally says shall not be required. And we also know that, again, confirming with BBQ on his video, in the beginning, Tony Graph also didn't require it. So, again, there are a lot of things, and I get it. Hey, the things are moving really, really fast. But like, should a lawyer like Legal Mindset in Thailand be using a non-lawyer's like Legal Empire as a legal opinion? No, right? The lawyer like BBQ or like me should be looking at the actual documents, or even if, I mean, you could easily find in the documents that no security as a bond was ever paid. So it's going to be really hard to force plaintiffs to like, and like, let's be honest, Bricks and Minifigs, the last thing, oh, talent's up for Tattle. Yes, thank you, Billy. We do worry about Tattle. Hopefully Tattle is well, but according to the poll I just posted, it does not look very good for Tattle. Yeah, so again, yeah, I get why you would do it. And then I understand why you would do it. You would do it because the views are very good. The views are incredibly good. If you lie about something like that. In fact, I mean, everyone wants that to be true, right? Oh, hey, look at these evil people. Yeah, I voted Tattle yes, is Tattle alive, but it doesn't look good. 94% say no, that Tattle is not alive, according to my poll. But yeah, like again, like I said, any lawyer should be able to look at the court documents and realize, oh, no money is going either way. A lawyer should not depend on a non-lawyer who is watching a YouTube video by Reckless Ben, another non-lawyer, explaining a situation and then misunderstanding it so he can get lots of views. And then the lawyer then looks at that video. Oh, wow, there's a lot of views in that video. Let me react to that video. And that would be Legal Mindset and Legal Empires. I'm sure Legal Empires did it like... Again, is there a benefit to making this mistake? Yes. You get 10 times the views. But, or maybe 100 times the views that you would if you realize... You know, it would be not a great video if the video was titled, Bricks and Minifigs did not pay money to Reckless Ben. Yeah, we already know that. The preliminary injunction will remain in effect until further order of the court, which means forever until the court says otherwise. Nothing in the preliminary injunction should be construed as a waiver of any party's defenses and right to pursue past, present, and future claims and damages against any other parties. And here is the judge's signature, and that is our new judge, who we are going to research. I guess there is a interview. Wow, that's holy moly. I think I want to do BBQ first. I think I'm going to do BBQ first, then we'll do the judge, and then shout out to Echo Base Network. They were in chat one time. Shout out to Crystal. They are in chat. Oh, there's Tattle. Everyone is concerned about Tattle. Yeah, so we will... So shout out to BBQ. Great stuff. I think this video just got posted as soon as it came out. So BBQ is on top of it. We'll listen to BBQ. It gives me a... Oh, yes. BBQ counselor in chat says, I'm always down to some BBQ. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to listen to BBQ and then we'll go from there.
Less than 1 day after being on the case.
Okay, so I do not have my headphones. And then we'll talk about the judge, and then we'll talk about Crystal, and that should do it for today, unless something else breaks down. Yeah, like everyone's saying, oh, I should be so upset about the Denon stuff. Like, if anything, it's good for me. You know, as a reaction streamer, the Denon's decision, if it holds, holy shit, it opens up like a lot of possibilities. I can just watch like Hassan Piker nonstop.
Judge David Barlow has corrected a horrible, horrible wrong. He has now officially removed Reckless Ben's gag order. Reckless Ben's free speech has been restored. Let's look at the order and let's wait for part 3. This is a reminder to everybody. I am a practicing civil litigator. I have 15 years experience litigating civil cases in federal courts all over the country, including many jury trials. So let's get into the analysis. Just before 9 a.m. Utah time this morning, Judge David Barlow issued this order granting the
And this kind of makes sense. What happened was the magistrate judge, the Native American magistrate judge, the first Native American magistrate judge of Utah, she was replaced by, essentially, you know, not replaced, but just like the presiding judge is now Judge David Barlow. So instead of coming down like we thought the TRO would be removed on Monday, Magister, I think Selena, was still working on stuff, and she had a bunch of things to turn over and file. And then once David Barlow got... So it seems like this guy is very timely, if you will. The first thing he did was remove the TRO.
The party's joint motion for the preliminary injunction, which specifically removes the gag order. So let's take a look at this order. So first, the judge says that based upon the party's joint motion to modify the TRO...
Okay. Please watch Legal Mindset's video. That's not what he said. When Legal Mindset is watching somebody else's video and they're saying the same thing, and he's not saying it's wrong, then when he titles stuff this way, like, let me just, like, explain something to you guys. Like, let me explain how YouTube works, okay? In case all the Legal Mindset defenders are out there defending him now. Also in Thailand, I assume. Let me explain how this kind of works, okay? When Legal Mindset puts out a video like this, and it says paid out, and Ben has monopoly money, and it says Bam paid Reckless Ben, the Lego scandal took a wild turn. You gonna tell me, honestly, by this thumbnail, okay? You gonna tell me, and then by the title, that that's not what he said? Like, guys, can we just look at this title and thumbnail? That's not what he said in his video. Wah. He's in Thailand. He's cool. Da. Guys. Come on. Do I even need to watch the video? He literally is holding a bunch of money. It says paid out, right? And the title is Bam paid Reckless Ben? Come on, guys. Let's not insult our intelligence levels, guys. Let's not insult our intelligence levels, right?
And enter the...
There's clickbait, and then there's lying. You, sir, are a liar.
Preliminary injunction. And for good cause shown. The court hereby grants the party's motion and modifies the temporary restraining order previously entered and enters the following preliminary injunction. So what does this paragraph mean? Well, first off, it means the judge read the papers and he agreed with what the parties said in their joint motion. I've covered that in a previous video. I will link to it down.
So yeah, the judge, yeah, let's do better, guys. Let's do better, right? Like, if that's what you want to do, right? If that's what you want to do and that's the type of people you want to support, go for it, guys. Go for it. But yeah, you're not welcome on my channel, right? So again, if that's what you want to support, that's who you want to watch, go for it. I don't have the right to restrict you from it. I don't have any possibility. I just don't think that we ever want to go down that road. Yeah, I understand clickbait. Trust me. I understand clickbait, guys. But you want your lawyers to do clickbait. Is that correct? Right. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, BBQ. Okay. Okay. I liked your video. Okay. a minute and 22 seconds into it. Yeah. Yeah, BBQ doesn't do clickbait. Whatever he says is real. So, like, would you rather listen to BBQ, a practicing attorney who is not going to use clickbait, or like a Ben holding a bunch of money saying he got paid out? Wow. I mean. No. I liked it, BBQ. I liked it, BBQ.
Down in the description in the comments below.
It's just so interesting, right? It's so interesting to think about it, right? How many more views could we get if we just lied about shit? It would be a lot more views, guys. A lot.
But the judge has read that motion. He agrees that there was good cause. And really importantly here, he's not just saying, I'm now entering a preliminary injunction. He's reaching backwards in time to modify the pre-existing temporary restraining order. Now, as a practical effect, that doesn't really have a practical impact on Ben. The gag order's off, and it's off.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, so something important to remember is Tony Graff actually was not approving this TRO. So Tony Graff actually wanted it to be modified and more narrow. This judge said, okay, just go for it. So this judge didn't care about the modifications. So under Tony Graff, who knows? We might still have a TRO today. And again, the TRO, a lot of people were saying, oh, the TRO is inactive, it's inactive. But it's active because if it was inactive, we wouldn't need to modify it. Right? It would be a moot point. So even yesterday, on Monday, it was active. The TRO was on July 6th. It was active. Now today, it is not active.
And it's off as this now is the following preliminary injunction. But it's important that the judge reached back into time and said, I'm modifying the prior temporary restraining order as well. I guess you could say...
And again, yeah, Tony Graff is perhaps very busy. He has a very serious case, the Charlie Kirk murder case. So like how much time this week would, again, like Tony Graff would not have approved it this fast.
Say it's important fan service. The judge isn't going to outright say that he had a problem with the TRO.
According to Sheldon, yeah, this is real this time. Yes, we looked at it. It has the judge's signature. So how do we know it's real? Because we have a signature here. So it is indeed real. Because we have David Barlow's actual signature. So it is real. So in case you guys want to know if something's real or not, just check for the signature, right? Check for the authentication. I guess you couldn't authenticate. Check for the actual signature.
The TRO. But by agreeing to modify the temporary restraining order, he is subtly noting that the TRO had problems of its own and shouldn't have had the gag order. So I think that's important subtext here. And that gives us some important understanding as to how Judge Barlow thinks. He also notes here that the defendants are contesting the plaintiff's entitlement to...
According to Sheldon Norcross, it is going to drop on Patreon sometime tonight.
Any relief, including but not limited to a permanent injunction. So he's noting what the plaintiffs have put in their complaint is not something that we're going to take just on word alone. He's now aware that the defendants contest those allegations. And like we've been mentioning in prior videos, the defendants plan to file some counterclaims. So the judge then says he's entering the following preliminary injunction. This language tracks what the parties put in their joint motion. And I've covered that in the previous video, but it bears focusing again just on what the judge is saying here in this order and what Ben is and is not allowed to do for the purposes of the preliminary injunction. It says specifically here, nothing in this order shall prohibit the
Yeah, so Ben is waiting for this to be modified so he can drop part 3. I'm sure that if it was up to his lawyers, they would wait like 24 hours just to be safe. But again, I think Sheldon has commented. I saw somewhere that Sheldon is commenting that it is going to be dropped on Patreon. So Patreon is not available to the public. You have to pay $8 for it. But it should drop. And according to Crystal, who may or may not have seen it, according to Sheldon, who may or may not have seen it, and Tyler, who may or may not have seen it, it's going to be amazing. It's like going to be better than part 1 and part 2 combined. But it will be dropped on Patreon first. And I believe it's going to be kept on Patreon for 48 hours. I mean, we might do a watch part. We're not going to like show it, but like my reaction to it, I don't know how to do that type of video. We're still very new in our video journey, live streaming journey. But I think that would be kind of cool if we all paid like $8, joined the Patreon, and we all got to like watch it together. I think that would be kind of cool, right?
The defendants from discussing the plaintiffs, meaning Bricks and Minifigs, Joshua Johnson, Brandon Best, or any of their companies, Ammon McNeff, Matthew McNeff, etc. All fair game. They can discuss those plaintiffs. They can comment on this litigation. They can engage in investigative journalism. They can express opinions, criticism, satire, or commentary about these issues, as long as they are following a lawful means or method. And that's important because what the judge is saying here is speech is...
Shout out to our good friend Sheldon. Sheldon, actually, I think this is kind of an interesting thing. I would love to have, I'd love to go on Sheldon's channel. He can come on my channel. Obviously, he's welcome. I think it would be really cool. So he did this where he was reviewing part 1, but from his experience. So shout out Sheldon. So this is obviously part 1. So this is not part 3. And he's giving commentary and he's talking about, I thought that was kind of cool. So this is a cool video that Sheldon streamed. And I think it would be kind of cool. It's kind of like watching a football game together. And then with the Mannings, and then you're watching this, and yeah, I think this kind of structure would be really. Oh, hey, shout out to BBQ. Obviously, Sheldon's a big fan of BBQs. He's got the BBQ video right here.
Which is okay. Posting on YouTube, on Patreon, on other social media platforms, that's all okay. But also, don't go to their businesses. Don't mess around with them individually. Don't have contact with them.
Oh, I'm positive Ben has already talked to his lawyers. Yes. I'm positive Ben has already talked to his lawyers, right?
So if we look at this paragraph C here on the screen, this is exactly what I was saying. The judge is telling Ben, use your free speech, use your First Amendment right to engage in any speech you choose, but don't engage in any unlawful means of trying to convey your message, which is basically defined in paragraph C and some of the other paragraphs. Don't block access to, don't approach the plaintiff's stores, offices, or homes. Don't go to any franchise locations. Don't try to harass any employees at their homes or at any homes of any franchisees. Stay away from them. Stay at least 100 yards away from them at all times. So physical acts are being restrained. Those physical acts are things that Ben has already agreed to, so that's not a problem. But the speech is okay, and that's the important thing here. Reckless Ben's free speech is restored to him. So what does this mean for Reckless Ben and the next stage in the case? Well, first off, I expect we will see part 3 sometime this morning.
Yeah, part 3. Again, kind of depends on what his lawyers say. But yeah, everyone is saying, Sheldon said, it's coming out. I think Patreon's kind of, safe, right? Because it's not, public.
If it isn't already up by the time I publish this video, it will be within an hour or two. So be on
shout out to Alex for making the channel run. Without Alex, the channel would not run, as maybe it just doesn't run.
Look out for part 3. We will apparently get to learn a lot more about this story through that. Also, now that the permanent judge, Judge Barlow, is on the case, the next step is that the plaintiffs will be filing their responses to the claims and maybe filing their own counterclaims in the beginning of August. So I think it's August 3rd is when the defendants will be responding to the complaint. That will either there's a few options that they have. One, they might file what's called their answer and their counterclaims. So they may respond to the complaint, they may deny the allegations, and they may file the counterclaims that they've referenced in.
Already we know that the video is about bricks and minifigs. At least half. So according to Tyler and Sheldon, half the video is specifically about bricks and minifigs. For $8, you can bet Ammon McNeff, Matt McNeff, they're probably going to use the same Patreon account. Let's be honest. They're kind of cheapskates, right? They're probably going to use the same Patreon account. So all the McNeffs, the McNeff families, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, they're all going to probably log on to the same Patreon account, paid $8 total, not individual, to watch the video. They kind of have to, right? If you are them, or even if you are a Bricks and Minifigs franchisee, you kind of have to watch it. because it does affect your business and does affect your bottom line. For $8, right? I think it's a no-brainer that they have to watch it, because if they don't, it might actually affect their business and their revenue and their profits.
Their joint motion. They haven't identified what those counterclaims are. I have some thoughts on what they might be. I'll save those for a later video. But so option one, answer and their counterclaims. And by the way, I do think the counterclaims will probably seek monetary damages from the plaintiff.
Yeah, the lawyers will absolutely have to watch it in case it brings up more claims, or it gives them a clue to what the counterclaims will be, or even their legal strategy. I would imagine that Ben's lawyer, because Ben created this video a long time ago, I would already imagine Ben's lawyer has already cleaned up some of it, because they've had a lot of time. The TRO has been in effect for a long time. So I would imagine the video already got the approval from Ben's lawyers.
The plaintiffs for something. Option two is they will file what's called a motion to dismiss. That motion to dismiss will challenge certain allegations in the complaint as not being legally sufficient to maintain. It will also very likely include what's called an anti-SLAPP motion as part of that motion to dismiss. And again, that's something I will cover in a later video. It bears having its own video to cover what anti-SLAPP is. But just to touch briefly, anti-SLAPP is a motion that you can bring when a party has been sued, essentially to chill the defendant's free speech. So someone basically brings a lawsuit to force a defendant to stop talking. And so I expect the defendants will file an anti-SLAPP lawsuit because they view this entire lawsuit as an attempt to stop their free speech. And that's basically been borne out through the original TRO, right? That's exactly what the plaintiffs did. And so there's clear applicability to an anti-SLAPP.
Yeah, it's one of these weird things in the law is when you sue somebody for either a defamation or, I guess, tortious interference of businesses, like any of these claims where it's about reputation and so on, you actually just kind of stop them with the lawsuit. And so they really did. I mean, if you think about how bad it could be, so let's imagine Part 3 released after Part 2. It could be really bad, right? But Part 3 has been delayed. So steam has been lost. You know, some people, again, people do have short attention spans. I think it's been over a month now, yes? Since Part 2. So had Part 3 been released as soon as Reckless Ben was done, that would have had, I don't know, again, it's hard to tell, but I would imagine it would have a much bigger impact overall, especially given what we have been told by Tyler, Crystal, and Sheldon. And it might have just been the straw that broke the camel's back, but they are suing Reckless Ben. Bricks and Minifigs was able to delay Part 3 for, I think, a month, right? I have to double check that, but I believe a month. So there has been some cool-off time, and according to their own PR policies, which Reckless Ben got a hold of, then there was supposed to be some type of recovery time, and so on. Now, we know that it's been tough for Bricks and Minifigs franchisees, but could you imagine if Part 3 had been released, let's say, a few days after Part 2? Because it was kind of like accumulating into like, it might be a death blow. So again, they sued to delay, and they successfully delayed. So another interesting use of a lawsuit.
Anti-SLAPP motion. Do I think anti-SLAPP will knock out the entire case? No.
Yeah, so it would be interesting if we could put a poll together. What do you guys think? If Part 3 was released as soon as Ben was done, or if Part 3 is released today, a month later, which one actually has the bigger effect on corporate? Like in terms of more, like, again, I'm using this phrase damages in quotations, right? It's hard to damage a company losing money every year, but it can be done. I mean, you can, right? I mean, a company can be done. It's hard to damage a company with negative 600,000 equity, but nonetheless, I mean, it's possible, I guess. Which would be the bigger impact? I imagine if Part 3 was released when Part 2 was done, and then as soon as it was like finished, based on what I'm hearing, it probably would just destroy bricks and minifigs, right? Now there's some delay. There was some momentum. The momentum it has been going. We've been making Reckless Ben videos almost every day now, and live streaming every day. And there's awesome people like BBQ Counselor as well, and BJC Live. She's been streaming very consistently. But I kind of wonder, like, you know, now enough time has passed, does the general public care less? Because remember, the Bricks and Minifigs has two core audiences. Lego buyers, and I can tell you, we talked to Last Relic, and when he had his story and he went to the big Lego channels, no one would give him the time of day. In fact, the big Lego channels wanted to charge him $1,500 to report on his story. So the Lego channels don't really care. Most of them don't care. M&R Productions, they care, and he's been covering it. But like Amersaurus and all these other huge Lego channels, they don't seem to care because, according to Last Relic, many of them either work with Bricks and Minifigs, currently work with them, or worked with them in the past, or want to work with them in the future, right?
No.
So yeah, I'll give BBQ a better like visual. I realized, wow, I'm doing him a disservice because his eyes are closed and things happen. Okay, so I'm not talking about us, right? We are always going to care. We live stream every day. I'm talking about the general public. So number one, the Lego community, and number two, like the general audiences, like a family member. You know, I think it would reach a critical mass where like outlets like, remember Daniel McNeff? Shout out to BJC Live again for this great catch. When Daniel McNeff was thinking like people were like shooting his like home with like BB guns, he mentioned like, oh, Fox News, New York Times. For people like Daniel McNeff, who is, you know, family, like, that's the core audience. We'll see. I mean, it's an interesting question.
And I'll get into this in a later video, but anti-SLAPP is about speech-focused causes of action. Causes of actions that are directed towards a person's speech. Anti-SLAPP is not something that's going to cover...
Yeah, the normal people. I feel like had Part 3 dropped as soon as it was done, it would reach a critical mass where like now Fox News, ABC4 is covering it constantly. And that's the type of damage that, you know, that's the type of damage that you cannot recover from. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. Thank you, BBQ. BBQ, you don't have to donate money, BBQ here. What would BAM's argument be? Ignore our horrible finances. We were raiding companies, totally unacceptable accounting practices. Horrible argument to make to a jury. Yeah, so BBQ has a great video about how BAM was broke. And I thought BAM was like very successful because I didn't, you know, it didn't dawn on me until like BBQ's video that yes, BAM is indeed broke. It's losing money year in, year out. So it is a horrible argument. Thank you for the $10, BBQ. But yeah, it's a hard, I mean, how can you attribute damages to a company? So either they would have to say, hey, we're hiding our assets, our company's actually super successful, but for tax evasion purposes, we're trying to make it unsuccessful. So I guess the question really becomes like, do we believe BAM is losing money every year? I would find it difficult, but then the compensation levels, and we know that Ahmed McNeff, Matt McNeff, corporate McNeffs, they seem to be well off. Brandon Bess, Josh Johnson, they don't seem to be lacking a meal, if you will, right? But what is happening, like, with their accounting is a good question, yeah. It would be a hard... If it goes to jury trial, they would be totally... They would either have to admit that they are reducing the value of their company, largely for, I assume, tax purposes, or they just have a company that they're running to the ground. They're intentionally running the company to the ground, and the company itself is worthless, right? So, who knows, right? Who knows?
Causes of action that are directed to physical acts. And there are some physical acts in the complaint that go beyond speech. Things like physical harassment is being alleged. And I'm not saying that any of those claims are accurate or correct. I'm just saying that whether or not an anti-SLAPP motion is applicable depends on whether you're attacking speech or conduct. And so I think anti-SLAPP does have some applicability. We'll get into that.
Oh, no.
But it's not going to be a kill.
Oh, no. I just realized that BBQ's globe actually lights up. Would Lego be... Yes. Okay. You know the number one way to launder money? I shouldn't say this, but I don't... Okay, I do everything above board. Is Pokemon cards. Have you guys seen, like, Pokemon cards recently? There's this dude. He's 22 years old. I gotta, like, meet him. I'm gonna try to meet him. So the best way to launder money is via collectibles. RJS collectibles. There's this dude. He's 20. He just turned 22. He came from nowhere, and now he's spending $500,000. It's all cash, all the time. He spent $1 million. He spent $713. Every week, this kid is spending $500,000 to $1 million in cash, baby, in cash. Right? His first video was he's only spent $300,000 as a 22-year-old. Dude, if Legos is anything like... Oh, here's Billy. Thank you, Billy. Who owns the companies that provide legal services to BAM? Who owns the marketing firm? BAM isn't losing money. They're bleeding and dry. Yeah, I absolutely agree. The money always gets to Ahmed McNeff. As BBQ said, the compensation is incredibly high as a percentage. I think it's like 40 or 50%. Like 40 or 50%. Or who, like, does the approved vendors. But yeah, as to cash laundering, like, there's no other, like... Dude, there's no other, like, explanation how does a 22-year-old every single day, every single week, go to another convention with at least $500,000 in cash. And this guy is really funny. I like him a lot. In this one, he spent $1 million. He's just buying. He's buying at 90%. But no, these are graded slabs, so he can pay more because they're already pre-graded. Look at the amount of cash this guy has. He literally has a backpack full of cash. And all he does is buy. And all he does is pay. Most times he pays cash. Sometimes he does wire. But a lot of this is cash. Let me see where his stacks of cash. Like, his backpack is literally full of cash every day. So if Legos are similar, which I don't have any belief that Legos would be too different. If you wanted to money launder via Legos, you probably could, right? Oh, hey, don't F with justice. Consensus is it drops on Patreon today. So shout out to our good friend, Justice for Tattle. Don't F with justice. Okay, let me give her a shout out. As well. Great video. Really appreciate her. It's really appreciate her channel, and we are trying to figure out what happened to Tattle together. So shout out to her. She is in chat. No, I didn't say in stake. So yeah, she's in chat. Yeah, hope her channel gets more traction. Really good stuff on the channel. Really funny, very, very funny stuff. So shout out to her. She is in chat. But yeah, the consensus is, according to Sheldon, it is going to drop on Patreon tonight. BBQ thinks it's going to drop tonight as well, or today, which would also include tonight. I think it's probably going to drop tonight. Yeah, so, yeah, maybe BAM. So, like, maybe BAM, like, because they're always, like, stealing people's Legos. It's quite possible that they are money laundering, right? Remember, these are the, like, ultimate tax evaders. They do not want to pay taxes. No, I'll tell you something. Like, so, like, people say, okay, so my Pokemon Magic store wasn't, like, really successful. And there are, like, years we lost money because Pokemon was not popular in 2014. And mostly we sold Legos. And I'll show you, like, we'll do, like, a chill stream. And I'll show you all the crazy stuff that we were selling at the time. Like, Walking Dead figures, Game of Thrones figures. And, sometimes you take a loss. Like, you have a successful marketing agency. It's making a lot of money. And then you have this other business that isn't really making that much money, but it's kind of fun for you to do. It's a real business. It's a real LLC. Everything is licensed. Everything is good, but it just never makes money. So you take the losses because you're a person. You take the gains from one business, and you take the losses from the other business. But the other business is just kind of like something fun that you like to own. I think this may be something that's happening here. Oh, I picked up a second Moonbryon in case you guys want one of those. I now have 2 Moonbryons and a Sunbryon. Maybe I can bring them out and show it to you.
A kill shot to take out the whole case. So that's option 2, motion to dismiss. Option 3 would be some combination of options 1 and 2, as well as a potential motion to transfer this case to Oregon. And that's still a possibility. Will the defendants actually do that? I'm not sure. Now that we have a new judge, we have Judge Barlow, who has, frankly, acted very swiftly.
Oh, yeah. So there is actually some discussion as to tattle. We'll finish the new judge.
In 24 hours to restore Ben's free speech, that will play into whether they want to leave Judge Barlow's courtroom. Based on today's order and how quickly it came, they may decide that they are better off with this judge. So we'll see. So if they do these things, so option 3 would be a motion to transfer venue, probably to Oregon, or.
So the next question is, like, do you keep this judge or do you ask for a new judge? Is there a conflict of interest? And we're going to deep dive into the judge very soon.
Or along with it, one of the other 2 options. So the motion to transfer kind of happens in parallel with either options 1 or 2. Either they'll file their counterclaims and motion to transfer, or they'll file a motion to dismiss as well as a motion to transfer. I think number 2 is going to be more likely, meaning I think that they will file a motion to dismiss. I think that if they decide they want to get out of Utah and go to Oregon, they'll also bring a motion to transfer. There's one other thing about a motion to transfer that I think makes it more likely is what's called the subpoena power of the court. Federal courts have limited subpoena power and limited ability to force a non-party to participate in.
Yeah, so all the witnesses are in Oregon, right? Amanda is in Oregon. The Queen of Bricks, right? Shout out to the Queen of Bricks. She's in Oregon. The police department that was involved is in Oregon. So all the witnesses are in Oregon. Why does the court have to be in Utah? That's a good question.
In a case here, that's an important consideration because Judge Barlow's court, District of Utah, can really only affect Utah. They're going to have a hard time issuing subpoenas to get non-parties to participate.
Yeah, Amanda is a very important witness in all of this, no? And she's in Oregon. So it's kind of like, The employees are all in Oregon. It's like, why would they need to come to like Utah?
Participate that are in Oregon. So for example, think about how many of the actors and characters who would be potential witnesses in this case, either through deposition.
Oh, so Augie's dog says, I know David. I lived in his parents' neighborhood and best friends with his mother for 24 years. David is all about the law and the Constitution. I am not LDS, and his family is not like that. Okay.
Or through coming to testify at trial are in Oregon. Think about that store employee that Reckless Ben.
Oh, thank you, Scott WD, for the $4.99. At what point can BAM no longer afford to push this case? Well, according to their financial documents, that point has already passed. So do they have hidden stashes of assets and money elsewhere? I guess we'll find out in discovery. The lawyers are about to rack billable hours. Drop the case and begin Chapter 7 seemed likely. Yeah. At no point in time should you want to join this franchisee, especially now. So if you are... So like this... If you are thinking about opening a bricks and minifig store right now, don't. Do not open one right now. This is probably the worst time in history. This is much worse than Quiznos. And 90% of Quiznos shut down. According to BAM's own financial statements given to the franchisees, they're just bleeding money. Again, how likely do we know that? Or how likely is this true? Are they hiding assets so they don't pay taxes? It's either like tax evasion or they're truly out of money. They're truly out of money, right? So, you know... Oh, you know, have you seen this, this show called The Bear? So I'm not going to spoil The Bear for you. Oh, yeah, no problem. Shout out to, DFJ, for her great we should do a live sometime and try to figure out what happened to Tattle. But Crystal will have, enjoy your meeting. But Crystal will have some type of update on Tattle soon. Okay, let's finish the BBQ.
Has been repeatedly met with and tried to make peace with and had issues with. That person is likely going to be some kind of witness.
Oh, yeah. So, like, the show, The Bear. Okay, so back to The Bear. Very great show, okay? So, The Bear, they were having tax problems, and there was no accounting, and it was like some type of tax evasion or something. Like, nobody was paying taxes. And then so if you haven't watched The Bear now, it's like season 5. I'm talking about like season 1. They hid all the cash into like cheap tomato cans. Yeah. Reach out to our team and we'll do some research and that's what bricks and mini. Maybe they just have a bunch of tomato cans with like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Soon. It took her 2 years to even contemplate looking for the bird. Yeah, The Bear's great. And maybe that's where all their money is. So once they're done paying out everybody, they put the leftover cash. Because Lego, if Lego is anything like Pokemon, like Pokemon is so cash heavy. Nobody wants credit. No one wants Zelle. No one wants Venmo. Cash. I went to a Pokemon convention a few days ago. Like, they don't have credit card process. None of these people are paying taxes. Let me be 100% clear to you. None of these people are paying taxes on the gains of Pokemon cards. They don't even have receipts. They don't even have receipts. Oh, here's some stuff like my Umu channel. My Umu channel is blowing up. It's so funny. Like when you stop posting. Okay. This is not going to work. Okay. Oh, this is me. So this is me at my local store, local thing. It's a bunch of, so this is my local, my mall sucks. Dude, my mall has nothing. So imagine my shock when they got like a Pokemon convention. I was like, what? Look, let me tell you this. I'm going to show you pictures. Nobody can print a receipt for you. There are no receipt printers. You see, there's no credit card. There's no like, what's that, Stripe. There's no one here who can take digital payment, right? Yeah, that is me, Umu. Yes, Umu is me. The famous Umu. So there's nobody, there's not a single, I went to every single one of these vendors, okay? I must have gone through like 50, 60 vendors, okay? Not all the vendors want cash. Not a single vendor can print your receipt. Not a single vendor can take credit card. Some of them can take PayPal, but that's about it. And some of them can take Zelle, right? But the large majority of all these transactions is cash. I'd imagine that I imagine the reason Daniel McNeff, remember Daniel McNeff was president and owner of Bricks and Minifigs. I imagine the reason Daniel McNeff likes Bricks and Minifigs as a company and his sons loved it. Yes, exactly. So Billy's correct. That's the right that's the right way to do business, Billy. I have a guy I bought $30,000 worth of sets from last year, and he got pissed when he got a 1099 from PayPal. Yes, you do now. You also get 1099 from eBay too now. Yelled at me about having to pay tax. Correct. In the collectible space, there's just this assumption that no one's going to pay taxes, okay? So this is the perfect. If you are Daniel McNeff and you hate taxes to the point that you've created through your decades of battling taxes with Legally Mind, you created not one, not two, not three, you created 5 or 6 different systems, right? 5 or 6 different systems to evade taxes, and then you teach these systems for money, and you have another business called Bricks and Minifigs, where people do like cash for Bricks and Minifigs, right? Like, what is Bricks and Minifigs but a way to... Like, what is Bricks and Minifigs corporate? If corporate is losing money every year, year on year on year on year, why would you run a business that's losing money every single year, right? Yeah, that is the Deerbrook Mall. Also, if you ever see me in public, so we have Pokemon Go Fest. I know we're like we gotta focus on this because there's a lot to cover. But if you ever see in public, I actually have these EV cards I hand out.
But as being located in Oregon, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to make her participate against her will. Because of that, because there are...
Yeah, very true, Goosey. I mean, if anyone has mastered not paying taxes, it is Daniel McNeff. He had the multi-family tax system, then they shut him down, then he had multiple LLCs, then they shut that down, then he combined the two, and they shut that down, and now he has Bricks and Minifigs.
There are important witnesses in Oregon that increases the likelihood this case goes to Oregon or gets transferred to Oregon. Ultimately, all of this is going to depend on what Reckless Ben and the other defendants' next moves are. I don't know.
Oh, correct. If you are my wife's aunt and her nephew, they live in Chinatown near Bel Air. I can tell you there are stores in Chinatown that do not take credit card. It's just cash. There are restaurants, like often the very best restaurants, they do not take credit card. It says cash only. You know, like, and you enter the restaurant and it's like a really cool dim sum place. And, you know, if you don't have cash, there's an ATM on the front. There's an ATM in the front. Or they tell you, oh, well, you know, hey, You know, like there's an ATM in, or no, they're actual places and probably the best restaurants in Chinatown. Because again, I don't think they're paying taxes, so they can, you know, the food is better. Yeah. So anyway, again, there's still restaurants in Chinatown, like dim sum places, like really great restaurants. Huge lines out the door. And before we go to Chinatown to visit my wife's aunt and her nephew, we have to go to the Chase ATM like next to my home, and then we have to make a withdrawal of like a few $100s so we can, you know, they have change. So it's not like, oh, they don't have change for you. They have change, but everything is done in cash.
If we will see much on the docket between now and the beginning of August, we may. But I think for now, the case may go into a brief lull period for the next few weeks as the parties internally prepare their next moves. And then we'll see something for sure by the first week of August. We may see something before then. You know, we as the public don't have perfect visibility as to what each side's strategy is. So for now, though, I think this litigation is going to basically transfer back to the court of public opinion. And we will see.
So it's not only, hey, tax evasion. So I want to make sure you guys understand it's not only tax evasion. Hopefully everyone's reporting the right taxes. It's also like, I have a credit card processor. Visa is 2.5%. American Express is 3.5%. Like, it is incredibly expensive, like, to, like, have credit cards to transact. So from the customer perspective, they're getting, like, 2% back, 1% back. But from my store, every time we take American Express, it's 3.5% that goes to American Express. And every time we take Visa, it's 2.9%. So Visa is actually the lowest at 2.9. I think American Express is the highest at 3.5.
We'll see.
So it does make a huge difference for low margin items. So I understand, like, you know, like for low margin items, like 3.5% could be your profitability.
A lot of activity on YouTube today, this week, and probably over the next few weeks. I will try to cover as much of it as I can. And one thing before I get into the outro here, Reckless Ben's Part 3 is coming. If you haven't already,
yeah,
take a minute and go sign up for his Patreon. This is a guy.
Yeah, the reckoning is coming. The reckoning.
Guy who makes his living doing speech for a living. He has had that speech silenced. His ability to make income has been silenced for the last several weeks. And he doesn't ask for very much, a few bucks a month. Go spend a few dollars. Go watch his Patreon. Go watch the video when it comes out there and help him out. So with that, that's my video for today.
Oh, interesting. So Shopify is 1.9% plus 40 cents for a chip card. That's actually not too bad. We offer a 2% cash discount. If someone offers a large cash discount, they are committing tax fraud. The guy building your deck loves cash. Yeah. So a lot of times my long mower, the guy who mows my lawn, he'll just mow it for like a month, and then I just give him cash at the end of the month.
Good day, everyone. I hope you found this entertaining or informative.
No. Amex is the worst. Amex is the worst. 1.9 is actually not bad. Amex is not the worst. Amex is the worst. Amex was like 3.5% when I had my store. I can only imagine it went up in price. So I don't know what the current rates are. The rates I'm giving you right now were via Chase. So Chase was my merchant. I had a merchant account with Chase. I still do. I don't use it, but I still do. And it was, at the time I used it, in 2022 was the last time I used it. It was 2.9% Visa, 3.5% American Express.
And if you did, please drop a like, please drop a subscribe or a hype. And if you've got any questions or comments, please drop them down in the comment section below. I do try.
Yeah, shout out to our good friend BBQ. We would love to have him on stream as well. Like any content creator, it's just more fun to have like multiple people on stream, you know? I think it would be interesting. It's just kind of a discussion instead of me like yelling at chat all the time, you know. Oh, this is the new judge. Now, important to point out about the new judge, he did go to BYU. So he did go to BYU, and he was born in this area called Provo, Utah. Now, I thought Utah County was really, really Mormon, but in this Provo, Utah area, it is 88 to 90%. 88 to 90%. Wow. Mormon. So this is why I think the judge is Mormon. A, he went to BYU. And B, he was born in Provo, Utah, which is 88 to 90% Mormon. So I think this is a high possibility that he is Provo, Utah. In case you guys don't remember, let me ask you if you guys remember this. Provo, Utah is actually where one of Ben's criminal cases is happening. Okay? Provo, Utah is actually one of the places Ben's criminal is happening. Oh, this is American Fork, so I'm in the wrong one. Let me click out of this. So this is stalking and residential picking. I don't want to go here. I don't want stalking. I want to go. Oh, I want to go here. Trespassing. So if you guys remember, you might have seen Provo, Utah before. And the reason that you know Provo, Utah is because it is part of Provo City. And the reason that we know Provo City is because Ben is currently being charged for 2 misdemeanors. A Class C misdemeanor, which is a disorderly conduct, and a Class B misdemeanor, which is criminal trespass. Yeah, maybe like BYU is not a super great indicator, but Provo, Utah should be something that is a big indicator. And so the judge randomly assigned, by the way, Provo, Utah is where currently Ben has a criminal case. And I would imagine this judge knows a lot of people in Provo, Utah, right? Provo, Utah, right, is also Bricks and Minifigs. Minifigs headquarters? Orem, Orem, Utah. Okay. It is literally 13 minutes away from Bricks and Minifigs. So Provo is right here. And we know that it's very close because we know that this lawsuit here, so this lawsuit here, Provo City, where the judge was born, where it's 88 to 90% Mormon, where he got charged for a Class C disorderly conduct. This is where the police got called on him while he was in corporate. So this charge here, so when Amin McNeff got really afraid, something bad was happening. So this is corporate right here. Amin McNeff called the Provo police. Amin McNeff called the Provo police on him. So it was the Provo police that responded, that filed the criminal charges against him. And that is now the judge that we're dealing with. He was born there in Provo. So, okay. Unlike some federal judges, Judge Barlow has not been associated with a major personal scandals, ethic investigations, or high-profile public controversies that have received widespread national attention. So he's not like Tony Graff. Some observers note his work prior for Senator Mike Lee and his nomination by President Trump as part of his professional background, but facts alone are not considered controversies. His confirmation vote, 88-4, also suggests he was viewed as relatively uncontroversial by the Senate at the time. So both Democrats and Republicans both said yes to him. Judge Barlow's website. Okay, let's go to his website. The judge would never ever approve the original TRO. So has a section on TROs. Reading, a TRO or PI motion should be written in support in such a way that court can decide them on briefing and attach evidential materials. The court will enter into order scheduling a hearing if it determines a hearing is needed. Parties must comply with all provisions when seeking to file evidential materials under seal. Absent extraordinary circumstances, Judge Barlow will not consider the TRO without allowing an opportunity for opposing party or counsel to respond. If you seek a TRO without providing time for opposing counsel to respond, good cause must be shown in your written motion. The requirements for obtaining an ex parte TRO. So yes, he has much more strict. So specifically for TRO, he has much stricter standards. So Tony Graff, or as we call him, Baby Judge, he doesn't have any standards for TROs because this is probably the first time. Well, I mean, again, maybe Charlie Kirk would have a TRO too. But it does look like Senator Mike Lee spills his guts on how much he likes David Barlow during the Senate Judiciary Committee. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Oh. 350. Oh, I have Facebook. I have Facebook off.
In 1998. After he graduated, David Barlow started his legal career as an associate at the law firm then known as Lord Bissell and Brooke in the firm's Chicago office. Just a couple of years later, David joined Sidley and Austin, LLP, as an associate in the firm's Chicago office. And he later became a partner starting, I believe, in 2006, remained a partner at Sidley up until 2010. Of lawyers with whom I and the network lawyer as a professional. And although we worked in different offices as part of the same firm, we knew the same people. And the network of lawyers with whom I worked quickly identified David Barlow as one of the lawyers in the firm who could be trusted with anything. One of the lawyers in the firm who, even as a young associate, could be given any task, and any lawyer giving him that responsibility.
Oh, interesting. Ristic Siphon says, soonest part 3 upload would probably be tonight, but Victor stopped in and said it may be as much as a few days. Oh, yeah. Shout out to BBQ Counselor. Thank you for the great content. Oh, that's it? We just wanted to play. I don't know what BBQ is responding to, but thank you, BBQ. And I look forward to joining one of your streams, perhaps, in the future. You know, like, when you ask people to, like, you know, join your stream, you have to, like, also join other people's stream. It's all being polite, right? BLC Live is down, and we can't find her channel. Oh, no. Well, I hope nothing happened to her channel. Yes, no, we didn't forget. No, we know, yes, we didn't forget. Oh no, is my thing delayed? Hold on a second, guys. What's happening? Yes, don't forget, BAM is headquartered in Provo. Okay, good. BAM is yes, correct. BBQ Council, correct. BAM is headquartered in Provo, where the judge. So BBQ, do you think they're going to keep the judge or not? Do you think they're going to keep the judge or not? Some people are saying BJC Live is down. We'll investigate. Hopefully nothing has happened to her channel. Maybe a troll, perhaps. Yeah, I have a minute delay. I think she's just maybe not live. Yeah, so she has not streamed today, I think. But I can find her channel. Yeah, it's not down. She's not down, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. You can find her channel. You can watch her streams. Really good content. Note, Senate Mike Lee has a long laundry list of controversies. Example, 2020 presidential election. After the 2020 election, Lee exchanged text messages with the White House about legal strategies to challenge the election results. Although he ultimately voted to certify the election results on January 6, 2021, critics argue that his earlier involvement lent support to efforts to overturn the election. Okay, that's he's a Republican. Okay, so let's go look at echo-based location. Yeah, if you're a BBQ, if you are Reckless Ben, do you change judges? So let me try to clean this thing a little bit, and then we'll go. We'll go to the thing. Okay, so that's David Barlow. And we will click on this. I think that would be an interesting controversy to have. Yes, echo-based.
Everybody's been asking this question.
Oh.
What happened to the...
echo-based network. Echo-based location. Okay, shout out to them. Now we are going to... they interviewed... congrats on the 50K, too. Yeah, we both hit 50K at, like, around the same time, I'm pretty sure.
To the parrot when you guys left?
So yeah, the parakeet. I did not have room in my car for his cage. Like I did not have room in the car for the cage. And they could have messaged me or called me.
Oh, BBQ says, I think they are more likely weighing whether Oregon is better. Oregon is probably better, yeah. Venue for them. This judge moved very quickly, and on the first data point was great for Ben. Okay, so interesting.
At any point to say, hey, come back, you can come back and get him. Instead, we were told, like, you're not allowed to come back. You cannot come back to the store.
Wow.
They said, you can come back tomorrow morning. I went back the next morning and gave paychecks to the 2 employees because payday was every Friday. And I said, well, what about my employees? Are you going to pay them for the week? And they said, no, you can come back and drop off the checks, but then you can't go.
You can come back and pay your employees, but don't take the bird.
There. And I knew that the 2 employees knew how to take care of Tattle. So I thought, at least there are still people there that will take care of them. And then if they don't want him, I presumed they would reach out to me. But in those first few days, it was, waiting for a call for corporate to go through the inventory. And then when that didn't happen, frantically trying.
Okay, so Thursday night, they come in the middle of the night. They kick Crystal out. Crystal's thinking, oh, I have 2 employees. They will take care of Tattle. They're going to feed Tattle. They're going to change the cage. Probably because like they've already done so, right? It is very likely these employees also feed Tattle and also change his cage from poop. So she's thinking, okay, Tattle will be okay until I figure out what to do. So she's thinking she has a lot more time to figure out what to do with Tattle. Does he need a moving truck? Does he need a truck? How can she fit the cage? Okay.
Trying to find an attorney. And it was simply a matter of there's no way to take him that night. I couldn't fit the cage in my car. Yeah.
So what ultimately ended up happening with the parakeet? Like, where's the
We don't know.
parakeet at now?
We don't know.
Oh, wow.
yeah, we do.
Which is sad. I mean, that
Yeah.
is one of the things she's talked about, that she's, regretted from this whole
Yeah.
thing, is like, if only we could have figured out a way to get the parakeet
Yeah.
out of there. But,
Right.
the night of, we were
Yeah.
just shuffled out the door.
I mean, I believe it was Josh that said that he dropped him off at a rescue. So there are, I hope so, because this was in November in Oregon.
Yeah, so the employees, right? There's 2 of them. They received a paycheck. They should know. They should have more information than we currently have on what happened to Tattle. Oh, part 3 is out on Patreon, guys. Do we want to do... Okay. What do I want to do here? Part 3 is out on Patreon. Yeah, part 3 is... At least, thank you, Kevin Adams. Part 3, can somebody confirm it's like the part 3 that we're thinking of, and it's not like... So part 3 has released... greetings. That is a shout out to Echo Base Network. Greetings, chat. Thanks for watching our interview. This was at 2 a.m. 2 a.m., right? So thank you for this. It looks very, very good, right? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think we just finish this up. But yes, part 3 is now. Yeah, thank you for coming by, Echo. Thank you for coming by, Echo. Okay, so it's hour-long video. It is out. No, let's just keep doing our stream, guys. Let's keep doing our stream. Echo Base Network has put in a lot of work. Shout out to them. And we'll just continue on and learn a little bit more about Tattle.
Cold and rainy weather, and Tattle had his wings clipped, so could not fly. And so I know there are several people that are working on reaching out to the...
So it's actually, Tattle has wings clipped, and it was raining that day, which makes sense. It was very dark, and it was raining. Like, all these scenarios, right? All these scenarios don't bode well for Tattle. In addition to being in November, Tattle having his wings clipped, it was raining.
Various rescues in the Salem-Kaiser area to see if they can track it down. I'm currently trying to find the receipts that I had from when I purchased him to see if I can actually find those, the number from his little foot band. If not, I need to go into the pet store that I got him and see if they still have that record.
Okay.
I'm not a big guy, and
Oh, so she purchased Tattle from a pet store. And he has a band on, I guess, its leg with like an ID number. So there's no way that, Bricks and Minifigs will like have a different bird and say, oh, look at this. This bird is Tattle. He was safe here the whole time. No, Tattle does have an ID. I assume like an ID bracelet on its leg or something.
I didn't trust Josh Johnson as far as I could throw it. So,
Yeah.
if he says that, the bird is fine, everybody should remember that's Josh Johnson saying the bird is fine.
All right.
Yeah.
I prefer to continue believing.
Yeah, I know.
I would prefer to continue believing that.
That's one of the questions that we
Oh,
want.
no. And it was rain. Yeah. Shout out to Echo Base Network for this great interview. And on top of this, it was raining at the time. What are we watching this? Okay. Oh, hey, Reckless Ben is here.
1 month ago, I was wrongfully silenced.
I am no longer allowed to even mention this mystery company.
But today, I got my freedom of speech back.
I have my freedom of speech back, baby. I can say whatever I want. I can say Bricks and Minifigs sucks. I can say Bricks and Minifigs still support people. And look, I just said it. I'm not in jail, which is sick. We got our First Amendment right back. Yeah. Episode 3 is live right now on Patreon, so check it out. If you don't want to subscribe.
Hey, that's a spineless Ben right here. You can tell by his haircut.
To Patreon, then you can always just wait until it's on YouTube in a couple days. But it's live, and also you can check out episode 4 coming very soon.
Whoa, there's episode 4. So I never like wow, okay, so that was Reckless Ben. So episode 3 is on Patreon, and supposedly there's episode 4 coming out soon. Wow. That is crazy. Yeah, that was Spineless Ben. You can kind of tell from his haircut, right? So okay, 9:10 is the but I still find this fascinating. This is fascinating.
At everything the way that it's happened, what's the biggest lie or omission or misleading statement that
Yeah, BBQ, yeah, Spineless Ben looks terrified. Yeah, you can see from far away Spineless Ben is so not only is part 3 up, we can expect part 4
has made about this situation, or what is the public getting wrong?
He's so
Well, I'm interested to hear what we may have different lies because they've told a lot of lies. So what's your first one? I'm curious.
You're so like gleeful to hear what I think it is. I mean, I think a huge part of everything that's going on right now with Ben and Brian, for me, it is this claim that it was a private local consignment agreement. For me, that is the argument that they are kind of basing all of this on, that I wasn't allowed to do it, that it was a private agreement between myself and Brian.
Right.
I suspect where corporate got that belief from, because they pulled out from the Salem email account the rough draft of the consignment agreement that Brian had emailed to me. And in the rough draft, it has my name listed, but just my name. And I went back to him and said, the agreement, in order to be covered under the insurance and all of that stuff, needs to be between the LLC and you. And so all corporate had, when they started with this whole private local thing, because they never reached out to me to ask, hey, do you have the actual signed one? The one that Brian and I actually signed was between the LLC and Brian. Now,
and that makes perfect sense for insurance reasons. It wouldn't have been between Crystal as an individual and Brian, because then insurance wouldn't cover if something bad had happened. It would have been the LLC who was covered by insurance. And this is also kind of the interesting part. If you had insurance, which it seems like they did insurance not pay out? Because often it doesn't, but have we check with insurance?
And so there's a couple of different factors to their whole statement about the private local agreement, right? It's a legally binding contract.
Yeah.
Between Brian and BAMF Salem 1, the LLC that corporate sold to us when we purchased the franchise. Corporate had that LLC, and that is the LLC that we bought and operated the store under.
Yes.
That is the LLC that when corporate...
So that's corporate's LLC. So the agreement was made between corporate LLC and Brian Menzel for insurance purposes, because the insurance wasn't going to cover Crystal. So Crystal could never made that agreement. So where, I guess the part that no one's been talking about is what has insurance been doing, right? Has insurance paid out? Okay, John Dickens says, thank you for the $5. Unfortunately, in this interview, Crystal inadvertently confirmed Brandon's U-Haul story for tolling purposes by overhearing him on the cell phone. Oh, we'll get to that later. Thank you. Thank you, John Dickens. Billy says, was it in the franchise agreement that stores would only pay out consignment customers every 90 days? The great part at 1 hour, 30 minutes. Yeah, we will continue. We will finish this today, and then I'm sure tomorrow we'll talk about something different. But we will get done this today. Her explanation is insane for the delay in paying Brian. So I don't know what happened to insurance, right? Is it CoffeeZilla insurance where they just, as soon as you ask them to pay, they're like, well, I hate to tell you this, but you've been paying your monthly insurance for no reason.
our franchise agreement, the LLC that they took back. And part of the termination agreement, part of the franchise agreement is if corporate chooses to terminate the franchise agreement, they assume all assets and liabilities of that location. So any other argument about whether I was allowed to do it based on the franchise agreement, which we've all seen the franchise agreement, it's right in there. The franchise disclosure document also has consignment arrangements are allowed.
Paragraph 1.
Yeah.
So any other argument of I wasn't allowed to do it based on the operations manual, which is not a legally binding contract, that I've also never.
So she's getting very emotional here, because I think, she's getting very emotional and very passionate here, because I think she does feel like she has been wronged.
Ever seen.
Oh, so we have a meme now. Okay. Alex has made a meme. Let's click on the meme, I guess. We're calling him Spiky Ben. I haven't met this Ben yet. I don't know who this Ben is. Obviously, we know Spineless Ben, Reckless Ben. I don't know who Jamming Ben is. I thought, like, his name was Horny Ben. Like, you know, because he got horns. I thought that was a cool name, but I don't know. I think BBQ came up with that name. Yeah, what happened to insurance? The insurance pay Bricks and Minifigs, the company? Could it be that because Bricks and Minifigs corporate's name was on the insurance, they got paid out? Yeah, actually, this is a pretty interesting. Guys, let's think about this for a moment. So, there was insurance in place. Insurance covers stolen, damage, flood. Oh, like, this is the exact type of scenario. Oh, these Legos are gone now. A guy came in the middle of the night, and then now they're all gone. We cannot find them anymore. Wouldn't insurance need to pay this out? But maybe it didn't pay out to Crystal. Maybe it paid out to Bricks. It would be crazy if Ahmed McNabb got the payout from insurance and decided not to give to Brian Menzel. But he's probably done even worse things in the past.
Seen the operations manual.
You're
it was
never
given
now.
to me. I'm not. I've said this before.
Have you shared this?
I've shared this before.
They never gave it to her.
It was never given to me. And
So you were trained by corporate.
Yeah, why haven't we heard more from the insurance angle? It's weird. It's weird. Where's insurance in all this? Did insurance say, nah, man, you guys stole your own Legos. We're not paying. And if they did say that, you know, Ahmed McNeff is definitely the type of guy who would want to double dip. Given his legally mined history, he is going to double dip.
That's an interesting little question, too.
I never went to corporate's franchise.
No, it's not Brian's insurance. It's corporate's LLC's insurance. So Brian doesn't have insurance for it. It's corporate's insurance because it's corporate's LLC who's buying the insurance. This is a new angle that nobody has talked about, right? Thank you, Justice for Tattle. I'm feeling a little bit better. My little one's at daycare. Anytime my little one can go to daycare, he might be triple dipping here. You know? He might steal the Legos, sue Brian Menzel for $1.3 million, and also, like, get paid by insurance. The collection went missing. You had insurance for the Brian Menzel collection via the corporate LLC. Did no one file a claim? Like, is it, like, really that simple? Or did they file a claim, and then we don't know what happened?
They sent her to management training because she was the manager of the
They
store.
sent me to
And then they
management
went, that
training
was recently enough.
a year before. So I started at the store as an assistant manager. Within 2 months, they flew me out to Utah, promoted me to manager, and fired the current manager. So I
Whoa. So she was the assistant manager, kind of like Queen of Bricks was, and they said, hey, you did such a good job. We need to fly you to Utah and we train you to be a manager. So does all the managers get trained? That seems like a little bit of overkill. And because you got trained to be the new manager, we found the old manager. There seems to be a lot of churning between people. I think they were setting Crystal up. This is like a setup. Guys, it is a setup. So it is a setup. Maybe the current manager didn't want to buy into the franchise system. And that's why they had to remove them. This is sounding almost like an MLM. If you don't believe in it enough to put your own money and buy into it, then we'll find someone who does. So we have a manager, assistant manager, and an employee. And then if the manager, hey, we're giving you this great opportunity. All you have to do is give us $600,000 and blah, 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 blah. It's a great opportunity. And then, no, I don't like that. Oh, okay, don't worry about it. Now we fly out Crystal, assistant manager. We train her to be manager. Then we remove the manager. And Crystal now has the opportunity to run her own store. Until we can promote her to be franchisee. This is sounding very, very ugly. It sounds like a trap. It sounds like a trap.
In Utah at the corporate offices when I first started.
Yeah.
And then a year later, when we purchased the franchise, you're supposed to go through the discovery day where you speak to all the other franchise owners and you go through their franchisee training and you do all this. And I asked them, like, do I need to do that? And they said, well, no, you came out for the management training and you've been running the store for a year. Like, you already know all of it.
So again, they're saying that because you're a manager, you already know what it's like to be a franchisee. To them, there's no difference between being a manager of the store and a franchisee. In fact, they said, hey, you already got the corporate training. You don't need to get any more corporate training.
All of that stuff. At that point, I had already driven up to Canby on my own and visited the Canby location and talked to David, who was the owner and like daily operator there at the time. And they were like, we don't really think you need to go through and spend the money to fly back out to Utah to do that. So I've never seen the operations manual. I never went through their training that they're claiming would have told me it was against the rules. So this whole thing, their whole reason about why I didn't sign the agreement, so I'm not bound by it. Corporates, we didn't know about it. It wasn't allowed. All of that gets lost under these very basic facts of that was a legally binding consignment agreement between Brian and the LLC that corporate then repossessed essentially that LLC, leaves them liable. If they want to take the assets of the store to offset whatever debt we owed them, they also have to take the liabilities. And within the franchise agreement and in franchise law in general, it is the responsibility of the franchise.
So I do feel very bad for Crystal. I think she was targeted by them. I think a lot of these managers that do eventually own these stores, I think that is the target demographic. Because when you're a manager, it feels like you kind of own the store. And it's to the point where you don't even need to get trained anymore. You don't have to pay for the plane ticket to Utah. You already know. You go. It's sounding like an MLM, right? And if you don't want to be an owner, then we remove you as manager. Yeah, BBQ says Crystal is right. It's
to do their diligence, due
diligence.
To do their due diligence and go through the store and find out if there are any outstanding liabilities.
Oh.
Have they done?
Yes, BBQ says corporate is successor in interest and is bound by the consignment agreement.
An inventory, a
Right.
third-party inventory. Had they called me or emailed me and said, hey, this guy is here. What do you have for that? How were you doing this? I could have answered any of those questions a year and a half ago. Those are all choices that they made.
Oh.
So for me, like the biggest
So I guess they're talking about part 3. He has audio from his court dates.
lie in all of this is the notion that they never had any responsibility for that. They knew about it before I signed the consignment agreement. They repossessed the LLC and are legally bound for any of the liabilities owed by it.
That's correct. That's not Crystal as a non-lawyer. That's what her lawyers told her, and that is correct.
They had clear inventory. Brian's list was in the email. If they can get the consignment agreement from the email, they can get the list from the email. All of those things, everything just shows me that it appears to me that they made choices in the last year and a half to not do what the franchise agreement says that they were supposed to do. And any other deflecting onto me is they're trying to kind of...
Okay, let's go to 18. Oh, I like this is kind of segment 18, 16. 18. Okay, that's close enough.
So they're trying to paint a picture saying that this is you're the fall guy, you're the scapegoat here.
Yeah.
You're operating on your own self-interest, because this is personal. This is outside of Bricks and Minifigs corporate. This is not a business thing. You're operating outside of that, making this a personal thing outside.
A private agreement.
Private.
I don't know if this is our judgments of Bam's lies overlap, but mine is biased. I get the most frustrated when they are trying to make it sound like she wasn't doing a great job. This store, she was building these amazing relationships with these customers. She was building this store. She was putting her blood, sweat, and tears into this business as the day-to-day manager.
So it sounds similar to Last Relic. He was building the community up, but they don't actually value the community. In fact, they value the community at 0. I do think that the layaway probably is there for the community. Is it great for Brian Menzel? Probably not. But is it good for the community? Absolutely. And when you hear Last Relic, right, it does seem that he was building up the store. It was doing really well. He was building. The community was coming out. He was making sure to, make sure to sub to Echo Base for all the interviews. We're not going to cover all the interviews, so if you want to hear the entire interview, it will be on Echo Base.
She didn't take a salary. Like, she was, doing this work and investing everything back into this business, and was doing well enough that they were recognizing her value in a whole lot of
Yes. And the whole not taking a salary thing, that's what happened to Last Relic as well. It was basically free labor, right? They were using free labor for you to build up the community, for you to sell, you generate some profits. It all sounds very familiar.
Ways. So they were saying, hey, we need somebody who can, be an expert about this. Will you go over to this place and look at this collection and evaluate it for us? Not, oh, this is somebody that we don't trust. It was, this is our rock star on the spot. Let's send her out there to check this thing out. Or they were, saying, oh,
that's how they made Last Relic feel as well.
Hey, everybody, we're at the what's their conference, BAM World. Hey, here's you got to meet you got to meet this new manager. She's doing a great job, right? So they are
You have to meet this new manager who's going to become a new owner. So if you want to become a manager or become a new owner, like, this is like So again, in multi-level marketing, what they show off is the success of certain people. And then they're like, oh, you have to meet this individual who's successful. She used to be a manager too, like you. You too could own this franchisee that corporate now owns, but you work at as the manager, and you already know how to run it.
He's doing well. And the thing that is so frustrating is they want the public to now believe that the store was, they'll describe it as like being a mess. And, you can see the video.
They're rescuers. They're store rescuers.
Don't trust your lying eyes. Like, people can see in the video, the store was clean, the store was well run, the store was, and once folks realize that, they'll realize, oh, that's a pretty good motive to steal it. It was doing well, right?
I have a whole string of text messages between a previous corporate employee and myself when I was acting as manager. Every week or every month that we had good sales, I would text her, or she would message me. Because I was consistently increasing our sales as manager, right? And we didn't have Kai on phone the night. I don't like to talk good about it's uncomfortable.
Understand.
But it frustrates me when they're trying to make it look like she was doing a bad job. And I guess the thing that is particularly frustrating is people will say like, oh, her record keeping. And I'm like, okay, well, at the end of the year, she would have done this really meticulous inventory.
Right.
they came in November.
In the middle of it all.
Right, they jump in there. Meanwhile, they are legally obligated to provide an inventory if they...
Billy says it takes a quarter to pay out your customer who has handed you... Well, again, is it a $200,000 collection? Is it less? Still unknown. $200,000 collection, and then you're selling 100% and keeping 30 to 40%. The Menzels gifted her a great opportunity. Yes. So, yeah, her just based on the Menzels... yeah, she had a great opportunity to make it work, right?
Over a store, and they never did. So if somebody wants to look at who's doing a bad job of their business, AM has never provided a line-by-line inventory, which means their record keeping is a year and a half late, not a month.
Okay, inventory method for... Okay, let's take a look at this.
A retired set is in the box itself. So
sure.
Any collector out there is going to tell you it is so annoying when you go to a store to buy a set and there's a price tag sticker on the front of the box.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you do. You cannot get that sticker
No
off.
way to get
that. I hate it, right?
And if you do try to get it off, you're leaving residue on there.
So we priced our sets, like all of our other sets. We priced them on either the back corner or right off to the side underneath next to the barcode. And so what I ended up doing is picking up those little yellow circle stickers, and they were easy peel stickers so that they could actually be peeled off when they were purchased without damaging the box.
Right.
And then we put the price on top of it. So when one of those sets sold, all of my staff members knew if it had a yellow sticker on it, then, and keep in mind, I only had 2 to 4 staff members. It wasn't like I had a staff of 20 that were coming in and out or any new staff members. If they sold one of those, the price tag is right there. You ring it in under Star Wars sets, right? Star Wars lot sets. If it was one of those minifigures, you take the little tag off, you ring it in. And so when we were ringing it in, we'd put the set number and then you ring in the price. So then I could go back through those sales tickets and go, okay, this is set, whatever, sold for this much. I go onto my spreadsheet and mark it down as sold. And then same thing for the figures. We put the minifigure number on it. That way.
So the yellow sticker actually served 2 purposes. A, to identify that it was Brian Menzel's, and B, it was an easy peel sticker. So they put the price on top of the sticker, so then you can just easily peel the sticker away. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't know about that. 36. Corporate knew about consignment. Okay, more about consignment. Let's go here.
So BAM Corporate, did they know that your store was doing consignment or consignment type deals? Or was this your first consignment deal that you had ever done?
This was the only consignment deal that we did. And corporate did know. That is part of the reason why we were requesting all of the Slack channel messages in our discovery, in our lawsuit, is corporate knew.
So tell everybody what the Slack channel is. If they're not aware of how you guys communicate at BAM.
I mean, it was a corporate required. I don't even know how you describe it.
It's Slack. Like Discord. It's a private server for employees.
And so
messaging's
every single store owner has their own account, like their own channel. Maybe is that what it is? Or if it's a corporate owned location, corporate has the manager has that. And then there are a bunch of different. I can't say too much because I don't want to give away too. I don't know quite where the line is of what I can and can't say, but there's various, marketing and various other different channels in there, announcements, things like that. Right.
Discord.
And then there's different channels between like locations. So we had one with all the Oregon stores, right? If the Oregon stores wanted to be able to talk.
So basically a professional Discord. Yeah. I've had Slack and the other company I used to work at.
To each other. But within there are conversations with corporate representatives talking about that consignment agreement. And so that is one of the discovery requests we have made for in our lawsuit. Not only that, but corporate. So and I don't have access to those because they immediately kicked me out that the night they took the store. But not only that, there is an exchange.
Yeah, a lot of this evidence Crystal's not going to have because they are her emails. They're on these Slack channels. Obviously, corporate's not going to turn that stuff over willy-nilly. There has to be a lawsuit. So I understand, like, Crystal isn't able to fully defend herself until after discovery. So even though she knows that this type of stuff exists, where the corporate is talking about this awesome Lego collection all the time, she herself won't have any evidence to show us until after discovery. And that's why discovery is so important in the legal system.
Emails between Brian and myself, including the one that had that consignment agreement in it, which they, again, kicked me out of the email. So here's the thing, though, is that whoever came in...
So if you are treating the email as your own, and then you get ambushed and they just change the password on you, then all your evidence that you probably didn't think you needed, right? Because up to that point, you didn't know they were going to come for your store. And that's the whole idea of this ambush, right? The entire idea of this ambush is to make it, boom. Get Kai McAllister to change the passwords, get Kai McAllister to change the Wi-Fi, and then send Brandon there to escort you out. You're not thinking, oh, I need to save these emails in case something bad happens to me, because you don't know when that time, because according to Christos, and according to corporate, Christos been doing a good job owning this specific franchise so far.
There's been some debate. Corporate claims that
do I have a cameo on episode 3? So obviously I haven't watched it yet. We're still hanging out here. I'm still hanging out with you guys. I heard I have a cameo. Does anyone else know if that's true or not? Or where the cameo is? Because oh, okay. Well, 5 seconds is better than nothing. That is cool.
Josh, I don't know. There's some, Josh and Brandon claim it was a couple of months before they bought the location. But if you look at when the LLC was filed for that location, it was filed the next day under Brandon's name. So there's some debate about.
So this is, again, yes, obviously in hindsight, we should not be using our business email, or we should be forwarding things that are important later on to our personal emails. But again, they ambushed her. So the whole point of the ambush is because then you won't do that. If they told her, hey, we're going to give you 7-day notice, then I'm sure Crystal would have done all that stuff that we would expect her to do. I'm sure the bird would no longer be in the store. Like, again, this is a really horrendous corporate policy, guys. So when I had a marketing agency, we gave 2 weeks severance. Now, I know for a fact, if I'm going to let you go, I don't want you actually to show up to work, but here's 2 weeks to try to find a job, right? So different companies behave differently. If I were trying to let go of an employee, I would say, hey, I'm going to pay you 2 weeks, but in doing so, I again, hopefully you find a new job. I'm going to give you a reference. It just didn't work out. It's not, it's not a you, it's a me, it's that type of scenario. But I'm going to let them go immediately because I don't want them to start downloading client information, maybe sensitive information. But they also have like pictures. One of my employees who became an OnlyFans individual had pictures like on the company email. And like I was like, oh, what is this? Like, and then I was like, and then like, so like, and then I had to delete it all, right? So like this was like kind of the crazy. Okay, this is the crazy part, guys. One of my employees, we had her for like 90. So when you let go of an employee, you already have issues with them, right? It's not, 2 weeks and we let them go. No, it's because they've probably not been doing well for like half a month or a month or something. So one of the employees, she'd always work on weekends at the beach and stuff, and it was like really weird. Like she had all these overtime hours and so on. Don't ask for justice. I will get to that question later. But I'm gonna talk about this employee. And then like I didn't really understand like what she was doing all the time. Because she wasn't doing work. So after about 60, 90 days, we were like, okay, well, our 90-day initial contract is over. We didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. we're going to, we're going to change your password because I own the domain, of course, runrex.com. And then I went to the thing because I'm trying to delete it. I'm trying to figure out if there's any client sensitive information that I need. And then I see a folder. It's like 10 gigabytes or something. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, why does this thing need to be here? And I'm like, oh, okay. and it turned out to be OnlyFans. It turned out she was spending the majority of her time on OnlyFans. Okay, so now let me go. So, because the email, I can create you an email, Alex, if you want. Just don't put stuff on it. Don't F with Justice. Shout out to her. The lease was never signed over, so she probably doesn't have insurance for anything at the location. ? I think that's why. So the corporate LLC, owned by corporate, still probably had the lease. So I'm pretty sure the insurance was via corporate, because corporate had both the lease and the LLC. So they probably had to get insurance. Yeah, so it was a very interesting story. But anyway, that's just to indicate that, as policy, your objective is to not let them access their emails, because they might be contacting other clients. They might be contacting your clients. They might be doing other stuff, right? So this is not unique. What is unique is ambushing somebody in the middle of the night. That we never did, of course.
Actually in charge the next day. But I do know for myself that when I was working as a manager, I was given access to the Slack channel.
Oh.
And
so I downloaded everything. And then I said, hey, I bought a hard drive. If you want to pick it up, you can pick it up at our office during this time to this time. And for that folder. So I didn't download all the emails, all the attachments, all the specs. Sometimes clients want their logo. Again, you gotta respect client privacy, of course. So I did turn over the 10 gigabytes of unrelated work that she was storing in our Gmail. I know why she did it. She did it because she was really cheap. Because we were paying for unlimited storage. We still have unlimited storage on my RunRex business account. So I understand what was happening. So yeah, we did. I mean, I'm kind of chill as a boss. I'm not going to really make too big of a deal about it, but I understood what it was.
And then when I became the franchise owner, I still had...
Billy says, every person we've had let go has had their email, computer access turned off before the conversation happens, because you could very easily delete our entire Bricklink eBay inventory of PIS. Yeah, correct. There's a lot of reasons, yes. So what I'm suggesting what happened to Crystal is what corporate does all the time. It's what every business does, no matter how big or how small. But then on the discovery side, it definitely sucks that Crystal doesn't have the evidence she says she has, because they have blocked her out.
The Slack channel and to the email. And in that Slack channel and in that email, I could see all the previous emails that were sent from the previous franchise owner. All the Slack messages that were sent to and from the previous franchise owner of that location. It was the same Slack account, the same email account that had been in use going back years. So whoever stepped in, theoretically, based on my own experience, whoever stepped in for day-to-day management of that store that opened on November 15th, I was there to drop off the paychecks. The employees were there. That store was open and operating and selling inventory. Whoever was in charge of that would have had access to the exact same email and the exact same Slack account, because the email was where the Toy House invoices were coming through. It was where all the bills for the utilities were coming to. It was where the birthday party reservations was coming to.
And this is, I think, one of the things, getting back to the BAM
Brian,
statements that are so frustrating is when BAM tries to accuse, us of incompetence.
Yeah.
Accusing somebody of gross incompetence is defamatory. I'm not going to accuse BAM of gross incompetence. I will say, if I'll let your audience decide for themselves. If they are saying that they didn't know, but all of those records were in their system and all of those sets were in their store and they would have found those if they'd done the inventory they were legally obligated to do, who's being grossly incompetent?
Plus, there was a...
All right, it's just straight up liars, right? They were either grossly incompetent or straight up lying. Let's go to 47. Okay, 47, okay.
If your store didn't have an incredibly valuable vintage...
Yeah, this is a question I was asking, yeah. What if the reason they took over the store was because Brandon investigated? He was like a secret shopper, and he realized, oh shit, there's a lot of value in the store. And there's these bags of Legos. Again, maybe we'll get to the bags of Legos later, but there's this like large amount of stuff that we can steal.
Legos collection worth somewhere between $140,000 to $200,000 ish, somewhere in there. People have asked the question: would BAM have ever done a takeover of your store?
This is an interesting one, and we can't know. So I've got two possible guesses on this, but these are speculation.
On
the one hand, we had said to them that we were intending to leave. We were going to move for my work to Spain, and so we were interested in finding another buyer.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was the precipitating event, or at least we thought so. Like I genuinely thought that it was about that.
Yeah.
But then we learned from them that they, before we'd ever even floated that idea, had already sent in Brandon Best as this kind of secret observer.
Oh, wow.
The secret customer.
Okay, so even before they told corporate we are going to Spain, Brandon Best already was there. Oh, God. So maybe it had nothing to do with them moving to Spain. Brandon Best was already... and when Brandon Best comes, you're basically screwed.
That is the question. Had he already, walked in and looked around and said, "There's a lot in here that's worth taking"?
Well, the timing.
We don't know.
The timing is odd because, my consignment agreement with Brian was coming to an end in the end of January.
Yeah, because
right?
if the store had nothing in it, there would be no point. Right? And she's correct. The consignment agreement was about to end. If the consignment agreement ends, then there's no more Legos. Or at least a large chunk of those Legos are gone. So the timing of the takeover was before the consignment was going to end. Right before it was going to end. Almost like they knew that there was a consignment agreement.
1 year.
Everything back.
So I would have gone through and done a full inventory and then gone through our POS system and made sure that I had reconciled everything that had been sold, all of his payments. And then the store would have either purchased what was left over outright or returned them to him or extended the consignment agreement. We didn't know what.
So the consignment agreement was going to end soon. So they struck in the middle of the night before it actually ended.
But as we were coming to the end of that, Brian approached me because he wanted to kind of see where we were at selling wise. Yeah. And so I had then created a duplicate copy of the spreadsheet that I was running on and emailed that to Brian in September.
And I created
a duplicate so that he could not accidentally make changes to the one that I was working on, right? Because I've gone on the spreadsheets and accidentally hit the wrong button and deleted an entire row.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I'm also not a very I hate Google Sheets. So I created a duplicate so that I could send it to him. So that he could see, here's what's sold, here's what's left, here's the approximate value, all of that in September. And then I did.
Okay, here's the layaway.
One of those things where people have criticized me for that, but I'm sorry. When you work in a job, and one of the things that you can do is bring that amount of joy to somebody.
Yes, I have not looked at part 3 yet because I've been busy here. I do want to conclude, just kind of make it very neat. But yeah, I heard that we have a 5-second cameo in part 3. That's really cool. Yeah, I think the timing of the Brian Menzel, like remember the consignment was going to end soon. So they struck before the consignment ended.
Somebody comes in and says, this is a set I've been dreaming about my whole life. I can't afford to buy it all at once. It does nothing to me. It takes nothing away from me to say, absolutely, we'll hold on to it. You make the payments.
Especially
right?
since, and this is something people should understand, there were more sets than there was shelf space.
Oh, absolutely.
So it was going to be sitting in the back anyway. Why not have it on layaway? Like this was not some, this bad business practice. This was just good business, but also building good relationships. Part of
the requirement from corporate was that we had to keep the retired and certified sets distinctly separate from the new in box sets.
Which is a good policy.
We had, like probably about this amount of shelf space for our retired and certified section. It was about this much. And so you could put maybe 15, 20, depending on the size of Brian's collection out on the shelf on a daily basis. We're talking about, how many hundreds of sets? There's no way. I could have put 3/4 of the collection on consignment and still had plenty on the shelf. But also like
on layaway, not
on layaway.
It was all on consignment.
There's too many
legal terms, yeah.
So I guess my question, I would probably push back a little bit and say, like, you know what? Yes, that's good for your customers, but it may not be good for Brian Menzel. I understand there's duplicates. What if corporate set a spy because they knew the store had a 200K collection at a store on consignment and none of it was in the POS and they weren't getting their 6%? Could be. Good point, Billy. Another very bizarre thing is the layaway. I understand the layaway definitely helps the community. It definitely helps the customer. But like, I would probably have asked Brandon. No, not Brandon. I would ask Brian Menzel and his dad. Hey, are you okay? It's going to take longer to sell, but it's going to make our community happier. It's going to help build out our. So I understand. Like, if it is I understand from the community perspective why the layaway makes sense to Crystal, but I don't know it makes sense to Brian Menzel. Because it does make selling his collection harder. Because there are plenty of people. One thing that I, again, question, now the timeline doesn't match up, is M&R Productions was in chat one night, and he said he could sell it all in 2 days. And he was actually offering a larger percentage than 65. I think it was like 70% or something. I kind of wonder, like, what if they actually discuss with Brian Menzel, like, hey, it's taking us a long time to sell. There's these other options out there, like a big Lego streamer we can help you contact. And the layaway doesn't seem like it would be beneficial to Brian Menzel at all. But the layaway it would be extremely beneficial to Crystal and the customers that she was selling to.
How do you not?
Oh, no problem, Echo Based Network. Thanks for being in chat. Great interview.
How do you not do everything? How do you not have a job where you are working around Lego every day and do everything that you can to make somebody happy? Like the store, we donated birthday parties, like celebration parties to Make-A-Wish kids who were going to like Legoland as their wish. And
So, I think Crystal has a very good heart. I think Crystal, Ben, they have a big heart. But, in terms of like running a business, it is a cutthroat business. Anyone with Legos, anyone with Magic or Pokemon can tell you it is a cutthroat business based on margins. Because not every one of your competitors is going to do what Crystal does. Not every one of your competitors is going to throw a free birthday party. Right? And I hate to say that, but it's so true. Like, you always try the best you can do, but the margins on this stuff is so thin. It's so razor thin,
Make-A-Wish would call us up and be like, can they have a party beforehand in your like we would do that all the time. We would donate birthday parties for kids that.
So let me explain something. I had a partner. So from 2014 to 2022, I had people in Magic the Gathering are going to know. I had like a store called MTG Line. I still had T-shirts from the store. I still have like T-shirts and stuff from the store. We had like some other Magic influencers visit and like do like whatever. My partner was kind of like Crystal. Very big-hearted, very generous. I was like the opposite. I was like, we gotta make sure our margins are X, or, you know, profit is Y. We still never really made any money. We still really never made any money, guys. And that's me like crunching the numbers down. So this type of business, yeah, I have the original MTG Line T-shirts. Yeah, this type of business is just so hard, guys. It is so hard. And I don't want to say this, but good people are not successful in this type of business. More likely than not. The people who are holding the free Lego events for kids who can't pay for it, there's a business down the store, and they're hosting a Lego event the same time you're hosting yours, where they are getting paid. Then they take that money, they take that cash flow, and they buy the new Lego set. So I know, it's such a hard business, man. Yeah, hashtag brick by brick. Thank you, Echo Base Network. It's such a hard business, guys. Like, it is, you're pulling teeth. And, you know, my last video on my channel is, hey, guys, this business is really hard. I'm going to go buy. Bye-bye. You know, like, that was my last video. Dude, my little last video on this channel was the margins are too tough for this business. I'm shutting out the business.
Toward them, we would give them away in raffles. Like, we would. How do you not have that kind of job and do whatever you possibly can to make people happy? Like, yeah. I'll take whatever criticism people want to throw at me for doing layaways, but I will not apologize for doing what I can to make the customers and that community happy.
I think that's a great response to that criticism. That's good.
I won't apologize for it. I won't apologize for putting my customers first, right? Their happiness and their satisfaction.
And you were selling the sets.
Yeah. Yeah. There was plenty of them to go on the shelf.
So with Brandon Best, what was your conversation? You mentioned him a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
What was your conversation with him like before the termination letter?
This one I can speak to.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Most of our customers, even though we had a physical store, I would say 70% of our customers were online. They bought from the YouTube channel. So like the thing is like really even, and that was back like way back when we were like really like only a few people were doing YouTube channels. Like, this type of business is really brutal. And you know, like I said, you know, I was having a discussion with Billy last night. Not everyone should own a business. And that's scary to think, but like if you are attending a seminar and there's 100 people there and you look at them, they're all different ages, they're all different races, they're all different people. And then the person in charge of the seminar says, all of you guys can be business owners. You know that you're part of a multi-level marketing scam. You know you're getting scammed. Because that cannot be true. Like, being a business owner sucks 95% of the time. Right? It would be great if every event we did was a charity event. But we would be so broke, we would have no money left.
This is interesting. We did not know his relationship to BAM. We did not know he was a BAM employee.
Yeah.
We thought, oh, here's a guy, and the way Kai framed it to us on the phone was he's come up from the Eugene store.
No, that's the way Matt and Ammon framed it to me on the phone on our Zoom call that morning.
Right.
Was there's somebody in Eugene that is potentially interested in buying a franchise. He wants to come take a look around.
Yeah, so we were trying that night to be super nice to him because we're like, this poor guy got totally stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know that this is
Oh,
his
no.
job was
Oh, so they're thinking Brandon got tossed aside by corporate, but it turned out Brandon was corporate.
rescuing stores. They never made that clear. So we thought, this poor guy. And so, like, I say to Kai on the phone, on the recorded conversation, like, no, we're not going to give Brandon a hard time. Like, he's not the one who's taking our store. You are, Kai.
Yeah.
Like, this is a corporate choice.
Well,
and so we were super nice to Brandon, and he didn't speak much.
Not much at all.
He just kind of took all this information from us, but we told him.
Well, and any claims that Brandon was like, any claims that Brandon was concerned because we were causing problems.
Oh, yeah, they said that we were, like, belligerent. Like, we were being... Somebody just walked in and said, we're taking your business, and we were willing to walk out and sit down in our car and call the company and go, can we talk about it?
I have no doubt Crystal is a very sweet lady. The guys from Echo Base are great too, even if I give them a ribbing. The problem is she's being nice with sets she didn't own. But I would push back on that and say that Brian Menzel and his dad made that choice. So I would say that Brian Menzel and his dad, that's a choice. They could have gone with another Bricks and Minifigs, maybe a little bit more aggressive. There were plenty of Bricks and Minifigs in this like little geolocation. Maybe Brian Menzel and his dad chose Crystal because she was nice, right? So a lot of times people sell me their Pokemon collections because they've seen me on like Facebook or something like that, and they know like I'm a lawyer and like, you know, I'm pretty reasonable. I'm pretty chill with buying a collection. I don't even look at all the cards. I just like, okay, if everything's in there, that's fine, whatever. Even if a card or two go missing or something, I don't even make a big deal of it because my margins are my margins, right? So people sell me their collections because they know like I'm not going to like kill them on conditioning. I'm not going to kill them on things that other stores would care about, especially if it's like a personal collection. So I think overall, people trust people. Thank you, Billy. We're all cornballs, though. Okay, that's not me to Echo. That's Echo Base Network replying to that. So I'm not calling them cornballs. They're calling themselves. Okay, so I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times people consign to people they trust and like. I think Crystal is very likable. So if they wanted to consign with somebody else, they could have consigned with somebody else, to be honest with you. I'm kind of wanting to watch part 3 of my wife. So we have to pick up our kids. So I watched part 1 and part 2 of my wife. So I think we're going to watch part 3 together. Yeah, I heard, people are commenting like crazy. They're coming in and out, right? No, I don't lowball people because I match the best, like, buy list. So if you've ever sold me Magic cards, you know I let you pick anywhere online. I let you combine it, do whatever you want with it. And when I buy Pokemon cards, I'm not going to, like, look at, like, oh my god, there's a little scratch. I have to deduct, like, 20%. No, I'm just going to... Whatever I tell you, I'm going to pay for it. I'm generally going to pay you for it. Even if the conditions are a little less than perfect. Here, I have another person trying to sell me a collection right now. They left me a voice message. I probably should get, it's... Yeah, I used to buy so many of these Magic collections. You guys, like, if you guys know... or you sold me a Magic collection, you absolutely know I paid you top of market. Because what I would do is I would say, okay, you go out there, you find me what the cards are worth. Okay, you find me a buy list. So in Magic the Gathering, it's different from Pokemon. We don't really have buy lists in Pokemon. But for Magic the Gathering, there would be like these buy lists, right? And be like, okay, you find the highest value for buy list, and then just report back to me. And then we'll just pay you out on that. And when I buy large collections, like, I don't, I understand. there will be cards missing. There will be there's going to be cards that are in worse condition. There could be cards in better condition. I get it.
That's not belligerent.
Oh yes, Magic cards from the 90s. Yeah, got boxes of them from a straight gold. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Work through it with him. So that's just not accurate.
All right.
We had no idea who he was. He showed up like a half an hour.
So I don't talk about Rudy anymore. Ever since. So the reason that I made videos about Rudy was he was like a MetaZoo guy. Like Rudy has like he has like 25 promos of himself in MetaZoo. When MetaZoo went bankrupt, he deleted all his MetaZoo videos. So then I deleted all my videos on Rudy. So let me address. Oh wow, Reckless Ben is in chat. Holy moly, Reckless! I'll just mod Reckless Ben now. I don't think he'll be in chat much longer, but thank you, Reckless Ben, for being in chat. Wow, so Reckless Ben is in chat right now. That is the official Reckless Ben. That is crazy. Yes, we were talking about the Patreon. We are chugging through right now. But yeah, that is Reckless Ben, yeah. In chat. W Reckless Ben. I haven't, I'm probably going to watch the video with my wife tonight. We watched part 1 and 2 together. So I feel like we're going to watch part 3. Excited to part 4. Reckless Ben, actually, he, yeah, huge shout out to Reckless Ben, and obviously we'll, give him a shout out to join his Patreon, and yeah, Reckless Ben is in chat. Yeah, I was saying like Reckless Ben should really sell some more merchandise. So the TRO is gone. He can talk again. And now he is in chat. Yeah, I would love to interview Reckless Ben, but I'm sure Reckless Ben has lawyers now. I'm sure his lawyers are telling him, respect his lawyers. Definitely going to watch part 3. And we're probably going to talk about it. Again, not spoil it, right, for the people. It's $8. It's $8. And everyone's, yeah, you should pay. The $8 is definitely worth it. I don't follow anyone, so again, I apologize. This is my streaming channel. I guess I will follow one person. I'll follow Reckless Ben. Okay, guys, you got me. I follow one person now. Yes, I followed Reckless Ben. So I followed one person now. I don't sub to anybody. I've only subbed to Reckless Ben. Yeah, guys, don't. We have another channel we watch stuff on, guys. We followed Reckless Ben. We won't unfollow him. So Ben has great lawyers. Trust your lawyers. Yeah, $8 definitely highly recommend. Everyone's reporting. Everyone's reporting that that part 3 is worth the $8. Yeah, we watched part 1 and part 2. And I remember like making my first live stream on part 1, and it was just like a tiny little part of the live stream. Oh, who is Reckless Ben and who's Jerome? Yeah, thank you for the $2 chat. Who is Reckless Ben and who's Jerome? Yeah, outside of my other channels, I've only followed Reckless Ben. Just because I don't want, the reason I don't follow the people is I don't want it, A, I don't actually watch many videos using this channel, and, B, not only do I not watch many videos on this channel, I just watch it, on a TV. So, I don't watch it, I don't watch this. So I'm never sitting here in this chair, yes, Jerome, watching YouTube. I always just watch it on the TV downstairs, right? Yeah, joining the Patreon will really help Reckless Ben. But yeah, so anyway, shout out to Reckless Ben. Thank you for saying hi in chat. I think we'll continue on because I think this is the interview was really, really good. Yeah, I don't really watch YouTube. You guys caught me. I don't really watch YouTube, guys. Like, I don't like this chair. It's, like, actually very uncomfortable. Right? Like, you know, like, I'm always, like, moving and, like, I need to get, like, a more comfy chair. Like, after, like, an hour, especially 2 hours in, like, it gets, like, really uncomfortable. Like, my butt kind of hurts. Oh, t-shirt idea. Reckless Ben is my only subscription. Yeah. Yeah, I'm only subscribing. It's true. It is true, right? So, it is true.
Were closed, and you know, introduced himself, and he didn't really say, like, we chatted a little bit, but then, like, he watched me lock the doors and turn off the open sign and take all of the consignment items.
So did he deliver the termination letter to you?
It was emailed.
No. I can afford a new chair, guys. I'm just complaining to complain. You guys, the $8 is better off just watching the video. Like, here's the thing. Like, tomorrow, we're not going to spoil the video. But we are going to watch the video. And we will talk a little bit about the video. So, like, if you want to, like, get involved tomorrow, it's one of those weird things. Like, let's say, like, we have, like, a school project. And, like, it's like we know it's due tomorrow. And all we have to do is watch the video. It's one of those weird things. Like, if, like, tomorrow we do discuss the video, which we probably will. Again, no spoilers. We're not going to, like, we're not going to do any of that stupid stuff, right? But there might be, like, stuff that, like, you won't know. So it might be confusing. So, like, if you have $8, instead of donating to me today, you can just watch the video, which will be more fun. Oh, BJC. BJC says, so BJC is also in part free. Shout out to her. That is awesome.
Okay.
And we did not sign it.
And you did not see that come in at all.
No, we had no warning. I mean, this was so out of the blue. We were just absolutely blindsided.
Yeah.
So when you got that termination letter, what all accounts or systems were you locked out of?
Everything.
Boom. Everything the next day.
Everything.
So
everything.
Slack, the
Slack,
account,
social media,
the social media, the point of sale system. Like, literally the only thing I had was the bank account. And that is because we had to open a new bank account for the store after corporate got the other one frozen.
And it's important for folks to know the franchise agreement says that they have to give you 30 days.
Yeah.
So part free is on the Patreon. It's on Ben's Patreon. If we can, Alex, can you link to Ben's Patreon? So again, shout out to Echo Base Network. Fantastic interview. Can we link? Can we make the little link the Patreon for Reckless Ben?
There should be this period that is a transition period.
Well, and the franchise agreement also says they were supposed to hand over full control to the social media accounts. The fact that my face is on there getting death threats and being called words that I can't say because you're going to have to censor them and make him wildly uncomfortable. The fact that my face is on there with all of that, which is completely unacceptable. But also,
Reckless Ben just said, he just said hi, guys. That's it. He just said hi. He's probably very busy, but we appreciate, we appreciate him saying hi.
Thing that should have been avoidable because corporate was supposed to turn over in their franchise agreement full access. I was supposed to have ownership access to all the social media,
From the
and
jump.
that
when we
the
first got it. There are a bunch of things they violated at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Chris, we know that they could remove things on social media. We know that they're monitoring BAM franchises now on social media, making them take posts down.
So there are two, at least that I know of, for Instagram and Facebook. There are two Salem Bricks.
Yeah, you have to imagine, because Part 3 has released, that Ben is incredibly busy today, right? He just released Part 3, the comment section. So, like, I don't want to say how he did Part 1 and 2, but, like, you know, like, there's likes, there's comments, there's stuff going on, okay? So, yeah. So I'm sure Ben is, like, responding, comment, and, again, feedback. So, like, he's got to be incredibly busy, not just today, but, like, right now.
account on Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about any of the other ones because I don't go looking, but somebody opened a brand new Instagram and Facebook account.
Oh yeah, no, I guarantee people are. And I think the way to really hurt Bricks and Minifigs is like BJC did a great segment with Daniel McNeff. Daniel McNeff doesn't say YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. Daniel McNeff says New York Times. Daniel McNeff says the news, the ABC4 News, Utah News. I think if Reckless Ben really wants to hurt them, he'll go after traditional media. And that's where he'll do his interviews. Because that's the channels Daniel McNeff watches. You already know, Daniel McNeff already listed, like, what he's paying attention to. Imagine, like, you know, an interview on, like, New York Times or something. Oh, yeah, you know the McNeff. You know Daniel McNeff will call Amon McNeff. You idiot, son, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Somebody opened a new account and started posting on that account. The account that had the most followers, that shows Brian's consignment, all of that stuff, posting on that page.
Oh yeah, like yeah. So he's been fighting this TRO for more than a month now. He's been under this TRO. Just imagine the relief he feels now that like it's gone, right? So yeah, he's been fighting. So he's been gagged for over a month now, or for a month. Yeah, TMZ. Oh, TMZ. Yes, Daniel McNeff also loves TMZ. Yes, I forgot this. Yeah, TMZ will probably be the first one for an interview. I think that would be huge. And, you know, like, I was watching Reckless Ben's video. Like, you guys won't imagine. Like, he's very good at this slackline thing. And he was on this channel. So he does have, like, he does have, like, some type of connection with mainstream media. He was on this Go Big show where he breaks that's Snoop Dogg. And these are like, so that's Snoop Dogg. So he was on this channel. Oh, shout out to Echo Base Network. Great stuff, guys. So this is TBS. So Reckless Ben does have connections, even this was 5 years ago, with mainstream media, which TBS would be, right? So like, could you imagine like him going on a show, like, you know, like, and talking on the show? So again, oh, this show shoot Ben. Okay, so maybe not TBS, but maybe another similar show, right? Daniel McNeff just fell to his knees at Costco after he heard Part 3 news break from Kiss FM. Yes, exactly. So, like you know, like Daniel McNeff, yeah. Thank you, Bill. It's like, oh, my idiot sons. God damn. Like, you know who can put a lot of pressure on, like, Amon and Matt? I don't think anyone could possibly put more pressure than Daniel McNeff. Right? Like, the last thing these two guys want to see is their dad call them, you know, my two idiot sons, you know. God, I saw you on TMZ again. I can't believe it. So, like, I mean, again, you know, we talk about this every day, but like the mainstream media, like, once it goes mainstream, it's like, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. I think my chat is moving so fast I can't read everyone's stuff, but like, I don't know. My chat seems to be frozen right now. I don't know what's going on, but okay, let's keep going.
Or from us. They never posted on that page. So all of the posts, I hope people hear this part. If you are going out there and leaving...
Yeah, I can't be on TMZ. Please stop this. Stop this. You're embarrassing the McNeff name. I cannot be on TMZ.
Comments on those were all stuff that I had posted when I was still either managing or owning the location. But corporate has full control. Like, you can still see on the page transparency who owns those.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is there anything that either one of you could tell us about a U-Haul?
I mean, this is kind of crazy. We saw the U-Haul, know it was a U-Haul. Like we can tell you for a fact there was a U-Haul that was there, but we didn't think of it as the biggest deal at the time. We're like, the guy showed up in a U-Haul.
I was like, that's weird.
And it was just like, that's weird that he showed up in a U-Haul.
He made a comment that and I think he was talking on the phone to somebody because he spent a bunch of time like just kind of wandering around the store talking on the phone. I don't know to who while I was going through and like taking pictures.
So he's talking on the phone with somebody, the traditional Josh Johnson way. My best guess is it's probably Amon McNeff. Oh yeah, if it ends up in Fox News, the dad is going to be so pissed.
And he made a comment about like he was going to pick up like a truck or a car or something, and that's why he was driving a U-Haul, which I thought was weird.
You don't tow a truck with a U-Haul. You don't rent a U-Haul box truck to tow a truck. But anyway, like we don't know, like but we thought it was weird. It wasn't until CoffeeZilla told us that they denied that he had the U-Haul. We were like, why even lie about that? We know he had a U-Haul.
Oh wow!
And it's just, I hope folks out there are seeing it's just one more time when they're going, here's our story, and our story is absolutely the case. There is no Mansell collection.
Yeah. So again, they didn't need to lie about this. Then they lied about it, and then there was a U. So like, why even lie about it?
Oh wait, there is. Yeah. There was no U-Haul. Oh wait, there was.
Wait,
People are not.
There's no consignments.
It seems so strange to lie about something still stupid. And then get caught lying, and then say, "Oh well, I guess there was a U-Haul."
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. And when we interviewed The Last Relic, he talked about how they had brought a U-Haul to his.
Yes, shout out to Last Relic.
So we're down there as well
in Florida. So they did the same thing.
There's something in the Canby store too.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the attorney for the Canby case is on record, so I'm not speaking out of turn to say that they showed up in the dead of night to take all the inventory and move it to another place.
Wow.
Yep. So we're going to move to inventory now, and you know you mentioned CoffeeZilla's video.
A long way. Yeah. It all started when he first stopped by the store.
Yeah, Kevin is correct. Thank you for the $2.99. If financials are true, BAM is trading insolvent. Again, if true. Now we know that Bricks and Minifigs, they like to hide assets. Are not Bricks and Minifigs. Amon McNeff and Matt McNeff, they come from the McNeff family tree line, and they are trained to hide assets.
He brought in like a folder with.
Oh, Savvy's here. Oh, Savvy, you missed it. Reckless Ben was in chat for like a tiny moment. So Reckless Ben was actually here in chat for like he just chatted one time. I don't know if we have a screenshot of it. Could you guys like go back and screenshot Reckless Ben's chat? Part 3 has been uploaded. Part 3 is live on Patreon right now. Yes, I've been told. So I have not been watching Part 3. I probably will watch it with my wife. We watched Part 1 and Part 2 together. We watched on the TV downstairs in the bedroom while we're taking care of my kid. Yeah, I will shock everybody and say that, like, I don't watch on my iMac. The chairs are not comfortable. This is not created for me to watch. It's just created for me to live stream, and that's about it. That's all I do on this account is live stream and upload videos. But it's not like something where I can watch like a 1 hour. And, you know, my butt hurts now. I'm almost like 2.5 hours in, and my butt hurts. Yes, I've heard that I have a 5-second cameo in Part 5. I very much look forward to it. Yeah, but if somebody can screenshot the, if somebody can, screenshot the, when Reckless Ben comes in, that would be great. Guys, we could have a screenshot of that. That would be really cool.
Ads inventory sheet.
Like handwritten.
I think
if you screenshot it, can you put it into the, if you are able to screenshot it, can you put it into the Discord channel?
Well, this one it was typed up, but some of it was handwritten too, with like all of his costs, and then like he just had pictures. And so the very first time I'm looking at like flipping through this list of inventory and just going off of like my recognizing the names of the sets themselves, and then looking at the pictures and just looking at like the sheer volume of the pictures. And then we're going and talking and I'm telling, and that wasn't even including the minifigures because those were in like.
Yeah. So Jules is cool. So in terms of like what she's saying, like I've had to buy very large collections too. And yeah, sometimes you overestimate, sometimes you underestimate. It's hard to like, unless the collection is in like a list in some type of inventory, it is very difficult to like understand the value of a collection the first time you see it.
Like baseball card actually boxes. They were like those thin baseball card boxes.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this and going like, just based on like what he's holding, I'm like, it could be anywhere from like $50,000 to $1 million. It's hard to tell just by going through these sheets, right? And so then it was, you know, going up to his dad's house and taking a look at there, and then talking to him after that and going like, we could be sitting anywhere between like 100 and 250, just depending on it, right? And then it was and so that number evolved as we start moving sets from his dad's house to Brian's storage unit, and then Brian's storage unit to the store, and getting them all inventoried and then putting those in. And I was going off of Bricklink, right? Some people go off of eBay. So, I mean, if there's viewers that are watching that are trying to do their own, some of them are using eBay, which we never really used eBay to evaluate prices in the store, because eBay tends to be inflated because you're selling to a wider audience essentially, whereas Bricklink
that they have that belong to my father, then they owe me $100,000, and that's with the consignment agreement. Okay. So if you look at those percentages, that makes that collection worth $150,000+. Yeah. So what I want to ask you is, can you speak on what you say the overall valuation is? Like CoffeeZilla said $107,000. If Brian was right, and I would assume that he was, then we're talking about tens of thousands of more dollars than what the internet has basically accepted as fact.
Yeah. Right. So if you go by the numbers that I have in my inventory, right? It's about 83,000 for the sets and about 30,000 for the minifigures that I had inventoried.
Okay.
So that gets you at
30,000 for the minifigures.
What, 110,000.
110.
And then you also have to factor in that I had and I think somebody, I haven't looked at it yet. There was a tote of minifigures that most of them were duplicates that I hadn't gotten around to actually adding into the.
Sheldon was right. There was a tote of minifigures that were duplicates, but it wasn't added onto the spreadsheets or the other stuff. So Sheldon's right. There actually was a tote. Okay, let me repeat this back again. Wow, great interview, guys. Wow. So, okay. Let me play this back because this is interesting.
Then we're talking about tens of thousands of more dollars than what the internet has basically accepted as fact.
Yeah. Right. So if you go by the numbers that I have in my inventory, right? It's about 83,000 for the sets and about 30,000 for the minifigures that I had inventoried. So that gets you at what, 110,000. And then you also have to factor in that I had and I think somebody, I haven't looked at it yet. There was a tote of minifigures. Most of them were duplicates that I hadn't gotten around to actually adding into the inventory.
They were in freezer bags, right? We've heard about these.
No. Okay. Let's circle back to that. So they were still in the tiny little minifig bags that Ed had put them in. And on each of those, he had a little sticker. He'd identified it and wrote the cost down on it. So, I mean, it was a tote. It was about this big. And so there is a bag that I never inventoried those. So they never made it onto my spreadsheet. I returned that to Brian. And then from what I understand.
The tote was returned to Brian.
Those were part of what he sold to M&R.
Okay. And then the tote was sold later to M&R, from our understanding.
I don't know off the top of my head what M&R ended up buying those for. But those would have been included in whatever that value then would have been.
And he got one of the Cloud City sets back as well.
Yeah, right? And the Cloud City, that was also one. There were 13 sets that I still had at my house that I had taken to a convention.
Interesting. Okay. So the reason these sets were at her home was because they had taken them to a convention. That makes more sense, right? Billy says not at all. She's literally said they don't use eBay because it's inflated, but Bricklinks is better because it's more niche and has less sales.
And so they had ended up in the tote with the bricks and minifigs stuff
Okay.
of stuff that we took to conventions. And as we were packing up and getting ready to move, 13 sets in that tub of minifigures, we returned to Brian.
And that's another thing. I mean, it's another illustration of the way they try and muddy the waters.
Yeah.
So they then went, they were hiding sets in their garage.
Yeah.
Sets we took to a convention.
Okay, so that explains why so they maybe the store was closed. These conventions, I've been to conventions before. They do run late, and then also you have trade night and so on after. So you take Brian Menzel's collection to a convention. You try to sell them. Not everything sells. Then you take them back and then you put it in your home because your store is not it's not open at the time.
Back to him. We didn't take any of his sets.
And then Brian there were some sets that were duplicates of the ones that we had in the store already. So Brian still had those in his storage. And that was okay, I sold the last of this one. Brian, can you bring that one? And then we would add it to the inventory. Or there was also a huge, a big moving box full of microfighters and battle packs. And we had so many that Brian just kept that one in his storage, and those never made it into the inventory. So my understanding is those are the ones that ended up getting sold to M&R.
So it's important for folks to understand that kind of discrepancy.
Yeah.
There were things that we are counting as these are things that would have been part of the consignment because they would have been had we sold everything and then gotten even more from his storage. Yeah. So when people give that high number, we were including that, but we didn't even get those into the inventory, which is why the inventory numbers.
That's very interesting. Okay, so if I'm understanding this correct, they were considering the $200,000 number was also the duplicates that were in Brian's storage. Because if they sold a Cloud City, and the Cloud City finally got paid on layaway, they can just ask Brian, hey, we need to go to your garage and get the next Cloud City. So, even though and then at that point, it gets added to inventory. So it's kind of interesting, right? So the duplicates are all in Brian's storage until the time that they are sold. And then the duplicate becomes a primary. And it's a lot more complicated than we initially suspected. It's very complicated. So if Cloud City 1 finally gets sold on layaway, then we ask Brian for Cloud City 2, and then Cloud City 2 now enters the inventory list, and that's how they're doing things. So even though Brian Menzel controlled the duplicates, they consider them part of the collection because they could always ask Brian, hey, these 10 sets sold, we know there's 10 duplicates, can you just get us the 10 duplicates? So the math is incredibly complicated. It's getting more complicated every time.
Because we were not able to even get those on the shelves in time.
Well, and I think what you're talking about with I don't have the number. I'm sure somewhere there are the numbers of what M&R, what he purchased all those for. Somebody could probably separate out the minifigures. And that would give you close to the value of the collection that we had, right? Outside of the 100 and what did I say, 20,000? Yeah, the 82 plus 30. But then I think so when you mentioned freezer bags, I'm guessing what you're talking about asking is Sheldon's
yes.
Sheldon,
bags, which I will clarify about that. So part of what Ed had was he would just kind of gather random minifigure parts if he thought they might be valuable or if he thought they were cool. And so there were sandwich bags full of guns or pauldrons or a bunch of capes. Hair pieces,
that's cool. Yeah, that's the stuff I love.
A collector.
Right?
Yeah, that's the stuff I love.
And so
that's premium stuff, guys. Guns are premium stuff. So that is actually really cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
There were probably, 10 or 15 sandwich bags full of just parts, which inherently in themselves, outside of the weapons, they don't really have a value
unless you can find that's the Leia hair and I've got the Leia.
Exactly.
Right?
Unless if I have a torso, it essentially doesn't have a value if I don't also have the head and the hair and the feet, right? The legs. And so but also some of those minifigures were mismatched, right? And so we were going through and using those bags, or like, here's a figure, here's a Rex, but it doesn't have the pauldron. Or here's this figure, but it doesn't have a cape. Or here's a Vader. But,
Okay.
And so we were using those bags to go through and see what we could complete as far as the figures. So those were not inventoried. There was no way I was going to go through and count every individual gun. Right.
Yeah.
Or what's the little plastic piece that goes into the trooper's helmet? The
visor.
It's not the visor. Well, there were a ton of the visors.
The little antenna that he's got on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
The old style ones.
So yeah, the freezer bags that Sheldon saw were like just random parts, so they couldn't really assign a value to them because they didn't know what, like, again, maybe some of them are valuable, but it's really hard to like inventory just like a random part. She mentioned that they were a 3-month schedule because they initially had a full 3-month delay inventorying the sealed sets. Okay, let's continue on here.
Even if he sold it all as one bulk lot,
he would have gotten ripped off.
how do you even know how to price something like that?
Yeah.
Right?
He would have lost out a lot of money.
Right? Like I could have done that. The store could have gone, okay, I've now got all the sets inventoried and I know what the value is and I can put them all together and sell them all on eBay as one. But the liability of doing that, like shipping that out and then having somebody go, well, I want a refund and I'm going to send them back to you, but they're all going to be open and missing the liability that you take on when you try to sell something online like that was just, that's part of the reason why
for folks to
people
know we did not do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Just the sheer volume of work trying to get them all inventoried because people are like, she had them for a year and a half. How come she didn't finish inventorying? I'm like,
yeah, that's what we said.
because also I was taking in buys from customers coming in every day and trying to get those and sorting bulk and building and
running a business.
Right.
It was a lot.
So
I did the best I could.
Speaking of running that business, on June 29th, BAM Corporate released a PR statement through Business Wire.
Okay.
And I want to key in on this highlighted part right here.
Ben, can we
Yeah, let me make
expand?
this,
I got
I can
it.
make it.
There you
I can
go.
make it a little bigger as
No,
well.
No, we
This
got
is-
it. Now we got a full screen.
So when we did CoffeeZilla's video, I didn't know that we could expand the recording screen itself
Right.
to the full screen. So when you see me there, like trying to like strain to see,
Right.
I'm
I
trying.
remember.
To
Oh, you're looking at the little tiny window.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we did. I think it was when we did. It wasn't until we did the Psychwalker Studios when they were trying to go when we were doing the. My understanding from that statement, from reading that statement, is they're claiming there was only $2,000 to $5,000 at cost of Star Wars inventory in
Yes.
the entire store.
Exactly.
That's not just the consignment. That is Star Wars inventory in the entire store.
because we had other Star Wars inventory.
That
in the
is
store.
all the used sets. That is all the new in box sets.
So
That's
how
all
wrong
the
is that
expired.
statement, Chris?
We have a video of our minifigure case, the Star Wars case. The Star Wars case in the store was the biggest minifigure case for a reason, because it was the most popular. You go buy new in box at cost, a $2,000 to $5,000. If you're purchasing it at cost, I would spend $2,000 buying a case of 2 or 3 Star Wars sets. So you're looking at maybe 9 sets, 9 to 12 new in box current sets.
In other words, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
That is totally crazy.
It
And
is
the thing that this is
laughable.
what gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm stepping back here, getting a little broader,
Laughable.
right? This was an opportunity that BAM missed.
Yeah.
They could just have seen and said, hey, Brandon Best and Josh Johnson clearly lied to us. They said there was $2,000 to $5,000. Then we saw the Gorman's video. There's clearly 10 times that in the store. We were deceived by these guys. And instead, they chose to go double down, double down, double down. Brandon Best and Josh Johnson must be telling the truth. We're going to keep repeating this number that anybody can look at the video and go, that is clearly.
Yeah, these minifigs are very expensive. Minifigs can get quite expensive. So either they don't know the value of these minifigs, or like there's something, the $2,000 to $5,000 doesn't make any sense. Oh, Billy says, keep in mind they're going to net 70 to 80K in fees from this lot. If the 200K number was accurate, I find the lack of urgency to be disrespectful to the customer as someone who does this for a living. I agree with Billy on that.
The case.
Right.
Well,
I don't know why they keep going back to that what is their relationship with the, I'm speculating here, but what is their relationship with Brandon Best and Josh Johnson that they won't just acknowledge if those guys told you $2,000 to $5,000, they lied to you.
Well, and they're also, we have Josh Johnson on police body cam footage saying,
right,
whatever you find in the store, you can buy it for. Right.
So they entrusted the person who is creating.
But the idea that there is $2,000 to $5,000 versus Star Wars inventory in that store is like it is laughable. It is utterly absurd.
Yeah.
And the pictures that we sent to CoffeeZilla, like there's no chance. Like
I mean, maybe it was $2,000 to $5,000 of what was in the store once they hauled everything out with the U-Haul truck. Maybe that's what they're referring to.
Yeah. Speculation.
But there's no way.
Speculating.
Really fishy, right? No,
they had different numbers on them.
An accounting to update him. That's good business practice, right?
Yeah.
In the same way in this, they say there was a large discrepancy. Yeah, there was an amount that was owed to him the next day, which we would have paid, and they took the store from us and the account and everything else. So they make it sound like it sounds really fishy, right? When they go, there's a big discrepancy. Yeah, there's a big responsibility financially that BAM took. That's the discrepancy. They need to pay him.
Well, and that's
So do you think that you sold that much of his collection that he was never paid for? Like they're saying 47,000. Would you say that that's correct? Or there's people online saying no, they U-hauled a bunch of that stuff out of there, and the Gormans were shown the door.
Here's the interesting question. This is a very interesting question. Is like,
and they never
how much was Brian Menzel actually paid during what period of time?
The chance to pay. Brian,
I genuinely have no idea. I just got that point of sale thing yesterday, and so one of those things that I need to do is actually, it's all out of order by date. One of those things I need to do is I've created a copy of it so that I can actually go through and go by date and see what was sold November 14th back 3 months, and then I'll actually be able to like have a genuine idea. And this is all predicated on the fact that those are authentic sales tickets, and they're actually tickets from the correct. They're not sales tickets from just like other Star Wars stuff.
Well, that's
so I genuinely, like, people want an answer. I don't know. All of this stuff had corporate come in and actually done like a full accounting and a reconciliation and an inventory. Like all of that would have been answered, right? Or
that's the
all of
thing.
that would have been.
Make sure people understand. Yeah. Like, if we don't know, it's because corporate has decided to prevent us from knowing.
And they also waited a year and a half to try to figure it out.
Right. And at some point they're going to say, "Well, just trust us." And I hope folks out there, people can make up their own minds. Do you trust BAM based on their behavior?
Right.
I don't.
Sure.
Right. Well,
No doubt.
Also, like Brian's consignment would have come to an end in 2 months, right?
Yep.
Any.
So Brian's consignment would have come to an end in 2 months, and then Brian would either choose to renew, or he could say, "Oh, well, you didn't sell as much as I wanted to. I want all my Legos returned back to me. I want a final payment." So the timing of this, I really think, is Brandon went there, saw a bunch of Legos, and decided to that the Eugene, Oregon store would be a better place suited for those Legos.
Anything that the store owed him, any of the sets that were left, all would have been returned to him in 2 months, and that was
never was.
Well, and that was in the consignment agreement that corporate got out of the store's email. They knew when it would have ended. They knew.
Again, not an attorney, but I think it makes it very straightforward. Hey, BAM, regardless of what's sitting in that closed store, give him the full value of the consignment. Just pay the man. You owe him.
And at this point,
yes, just wow, an absolute business lesson 101. Like, just pay the man, right? Just pay the man. But I think the McNeffs, Daniel, Amin, Matt, they're so used to not paying the man, the tax man, that like they just think that this is how they can behave to regular people too.
Have to do an investigation.
Right, to start investigating the collection you stole and should have inventoried the next day.
Yeah, when the whole public is in an uproar about it at this point. Now it's like, okay, now we're going to do an investigation, because they're kind of being forced to.
And speaking of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But at this
of yours finally did get his layaway set, which means we know some of it
Walker
was
did
sold.
get it,
right?
It's
gone out there into the world.
Brian has talked about, he sent a friend of his in, like shortly after, to buy one of the sets, and it still had the yellow sticker on it.
And he was able to purchase it.
And he was able to
purchase
it.
So we know they were selling it.
And then there was a woman who posted an Instagram reel a couple of months later, and you can very clearly see sets that were I can't prove that they were the same, like from the collection, but those sets were rare enough.
Right, rare
that
sets with the same set numbers
that
were
it
still for
seems,
sale.
you know, it seems highly unlikely that the store would have taken in, you know, 10 or 20 of those same sets. Yeah. So
So there's your, well, that might be some of the discrepancy too. They might be messing their dates up a little bit in that PR. Who knows?
Well,
yeah. Shout out to Refresh Toys. BBQ Crystal is very sympathetic and charismatic. Ben interrupts her too much. I agree. I absolutely agree, BBQ. Billy says he could have bought them to Refresh Toys, and I would have paid 70% for his collection. No layaway, no consignment. Yeah, Billy, you gotta start selling t-shirts, not bricks and minifigs. I think that would be hilarious. So yeah, if like there was like t-shirts that your employees wore, and it was like not bricks and minifigs. But yeah, I agree with BBQ. Like Ben does interrupt way too much. But I think he's just being protective of her, of his wife, right? Oh, Savvy Turtle. I left a message on Reckless Ben's in back video in the comments. It's important in vitals, like for others like me, to keep tapping the shell and not stopping because you got our first victory. Yeah, so I have to still watch the video. I heard it is very good. I heard that it is worth the $8 admission fee, right? I mean, $8 doesn't, Savvy Turtle. Yeah, Savvy Turtle is awesome. Echo Base Network is going to go live tonight. Another really great channel, Savvy Turtle. They're actually the channel that we're reviewing here. Savvy Turtle is like, he's like the Patreon. No, the Patreon. I guess they call it Patreon. I guess that's why Patreon is called Patreon. He's like the Patreon for all the Reckless Ben live streamers. Yeah, this was a really good interview. I think it was very well done.
I'd like to not only, I'd like to also see the sales tickets from after November 14th, right? To when the store closed down. I want to see those sales tickets. But as people have pointed out, the Salem store went cash only. You can see the sign on the door in Ben's video, went cash only. There's very few reasons.
Oh, yeah, there's a 1 minute delay. It's called Patreon, not Patreon. Patreon.
Why you would go cash only for more than a day.
A lot harder to track stuff when it's cash only.
Because we had a backup. You have your credit card reader.
Oh, the short I'm back video, not part 3. Okay. Yeah, I mean part 3, we're probably going to talk about it. I don't know how much we can actually cover it tomorrow, but I'm sure everyone. Yeah, we got turtle emojis. We always love having Savvy Turtle here. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow in some capacity, right?
That is with the POS system, but you always have a backup, right? Particularly if there's an extended outage. I can't speculate as to why, but
another thing, I believe this is public knowledge now, is if somebody purchased a set online through the Salem store,
it's in our lawsuit.
They were redirecting those sales through the Eugene store. So that means if somebody wanted to buy one of Brian's sets from the Salem store, that sale would have.
So they were doing cash only, and then online sales are redirected through Eugene. Very sus, right? And then Crystal testified for the Canby store case and is talking with four previous store owners.
Gone through the Eugene store.
Yeah, if you clicked on the shop online button, actually, if you still go on the Salem website and click the shop online button, it takes you to the Eugene Shopify page.
Which is the store that Josh and Brandon own, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the U-Haul took a trip there.
Josh and Brandon have only owned that Eugene store for a couple of years. I would be really interested to find out details about
how they acquired that one too, right?
Yeah, and as far as I know, that store's still in operation today.
Oh wow!
I believe from the last state of Oregon registration that I saw, it had been re-registered in an LLC under Matt McNeff's name with a couple other corporate employees.
Now Matt McNeff is getting into the business of owning bricks and minifig stores.
So according to the state of Oregon's business registry, Josh and Brandon are no longer involved.
Yes, Bahaha McFefs from Echo Base Network.
Wow.
That's usually what happens when a store is reverted back to corporate ownership. Is the LLC is then reverted back to Matt or Ammon.
So Benjamin came out with a video talking about another store in Clackamas County. We have our friend, the Last Relic, who had his store seized and taken over by Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson in Lutz, Florida. So there seems to be a bigger pattern. When you guys heard the Last Relic story about what happened to his store in Florida, how did you react to that? And does that situation seem familiar to you?
I mean, our immediate reaction was, wow, that sounds very familiar.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And that was my response when I read about what happened in Canby, the store that's in Clackamas County. The Canby store, their experience, I mean, there are differences, certainly, but there are a pattern of similarities, and I leave it to people to judge, but it sure looks like that's as one commenter said, that's not a pattern, that's a business model.
It seems like it.
We're alleging.
Oh, thank you for the $10, Savvy. You don't have to donate. You donated way too much before. BAM Inc., the smartest guys in the room, and Ron too. Yeah, exactly. This is a business model. Yeah, I don't know who said that, but this is a business model.
On the Canby store, I don't know how much I can say about it. The Canby store I've known about for, since last year.
But we didn't know that. We learned a lot from the lawsuit. Reading the lawsuit.
I'd never actually. I hadn't
that's
read
what went down.
I hadn't read the lawsuit, but I did testify in the case last year.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay. All right.
They are sticking together. That's very important. Yeah, that is very important that they stick together. Because I think a lot of these franchisees I talk to, they're very aggressive. But, it's one of these things, it's all fun and games until it happens to you. Right? It's like, oh, Crystal's evil. Oh, Last Relic doesn't know how to run the store. It's all fun and games until they come after your store. And then, who's going to speak up for you, right? There's no one left. So I think these franchisees should be really supporting each other, testifying in cases. That's not easy to do. Obviously, that puts a target on Crystal's back.
Any other BAM owners or former BAM owners with similar stories that we don't know about?
That we can talk about?
Yes.
Well, you don't have to mention their name or their location. You could literally just say, yes, I do know. There are more. There are more of us.
Yeah.
I am in conversation with 3.
Oh, 3.
Four owners.
Wow. Okay.
4, actually, sorry, 4.
Not including what happened in Lutz, Florida, or Clackamas County.
Or California. Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
4.
So 6 of them total. Yeah, I mean, at some point in time, the number will get so high. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson effect, right? Yeah, we love having Savvy here. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson effect. 1, masseuse, okay. 2, it's looking bad. Once we get to 4 or 5, it's like a pattern of behavior where Deshaun Watson is now contacting Instagram masseuses with no training. All of them are not certified based on what they look like, and scheduling private masseuses at their apartment places. And then again, allegedly, all alleged. Now he settled 23 cases. So at total, again, at this point, it's kind of a he said, she said thing until we really get to discovery. But once that number gets to a point, 7. Okay, thank you, Echo Base Network. 7. If the number is 7, or the number is 17, the number is 27, then you're like, whoa, okay, this is indeed their business model.
4 more.
Owners.
All right, that's breaking right here, guys. That's big.
Yeah. So that's literally 7 that we know of.
Two of whom I have agreed they do not want to be named. They do not want anything made public. They have experienced devastating financial effects from it and have filed for bankruptcy.
Oh no. Oh no. It's so sad. Like I really don't think so 2 of them have filed for bankruptcy. I assume that's personal bankruptcy. That is like, why would you want to be a franchisee? The company itself is basically operating in the negative. People are it's bad.
And lost their house and are still trying to recover, and still in a precarious legal.
So they lost their house.
Position.
Wow.
One of the other ones is we may hear from soon. Well, we may hear from at some point.
We're hopeful that this person will come
different
forward.
person.
Oh, a different one. The other one. We're hopeful
different
one
one.
may come forward.
They reached out to me to ask if I could put them in contact with CoffeeZilla after they
that's the big dog.
Something on CoffeeZilla's video that they wanted to discuss.
Oh wow.
And I passed along that
wow.
that contact information, which is really freaking surreal, by the way. Can I just take a moment to say the fact that I have a phone number saved in my phone that just says CoffeeZilla, and at one point found myself just like, hold on, I'll text.
Yeah. I'll just text the big dog and he'll research. Yeah, I think okay, that's a good follow-up, Billy. I wish I had asked the state of those stores when seized, but 2 to 3 a.m. was kicking my butt. What did Billy say? Billy, but was there a difference between a takeover and a failing business? Owning a BAM isn't a license to print money. Some will fail. Yeah, that's actually a good question. But yeah, remember, so Coach and Nick from Echo Based Network, they were doing this interview at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I assume they're on Eastern time, and these guys are on Pacific time, so there's like a 4-hour difference, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a great interview.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been
What?
wild.
Like,
Yeah.
how does
So
that
strange.
even I'm sorry. It's still just.
Savvy Turtle says, allegedly it seems like you buy a franchise and you build it, then they steal it and then give it to their inner circle, what BAM calls franchise building. Yeah, and then there's something, a discussion on franchise churning later, which will be very interesting to hear. Billy says 3 to 7 franchises went out of business between 2018 to 2016. That's really good. I think that number looks pretty good. How does this stack up to other franchise models? Savvy says, shout out to Maddie Appleseed, hunting down franchisees for live interviews. Yeah, shout out to Maddie Appleseed. Churn, yeah, it's, well, we're almost done, but we'll go on, we'll finish.
It still kind of blows my mind. It's weird. Sorry, that it's so surreal.
No, isn't there a 4-hour time? It's Eastern Standard Mountain Pacific. It's 4. It's 4. Right? There's Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. I'm pretty sure there's a 4-hour difference between Eastern Standard Time and Pacific. Because I'm in Central Time, and there's a 1-hour difference Mountain Time. Oh, 3-hour difference. Okay. 4 time zones. Okay, yeah, you guys are right. 4 time zones, 3-hour difference. Okay, yeah.
The fourth one, I am fairly confident we will hear more from publicly soonish.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
it's up to the person to decide.
It's
So the fourth one, if they want to interview with us, we'd be happy to have them on.
crazy to me to think that the people that don't want anything to come out public, they had to file bankruptcy, one lost their house.
Any franchise takeover will be hostile to someone filing bankruptcy. Most franchises have contracts in place for the takeover if the store is failing to hit certain sales.
If I could speak to them, I'd be like, this is exactly why you need to come out publicly, because the public is behind people that are getting screwed over.
But there's terminology in there that if you exit your franchise agreement for any reason before that 5 years is up, then you have to pay corporate all of the royalties that you would have paid them.
That is true. If McDonald's, if you're only making $150,000 a year at McDonald's, they won't take back your franchise because you're not running it properly. Oh, so Provo Police. Wow. Okay, so I guess part 3 is about Provo Police.
During that remainder. So if you've operated the store for a year, then
and
you
fines, just like payday loan vendors.
Have to pay them based on that year's sales, what you would have paid in royalties for the next 4 years.
Oh no.
Which is why corporate keeps coming out and saying, you know, we were $200,000 in debt. Yeah, because you want to tack on more than $100,000 in fines, right?
Yeah. Yes. Just like a payday loan vendor. No different from a payday loan vendor. They're either going to get you with their high interest, or they're going to, if they are in a state where high interest is not allowed, it's called usury. So usury is you can only charge interest to a certain amount, APR. They hit you with those fines. So it doesn't actually help. These kind of slimy payday loan operators, they'll find a way. They will find a way. So even, like, it's kind of weird, right? So even in states where there are usury laws, they'll just hit you with fees. You know? They'll just hit you with fees.
You created, essentially.
Yeah, which you did not have. To be clear, you guys didn't have any of this before they took over, right? You didn't have any of these fines or...
So I mean, and this is all publicly available in our lawsuit. There were issues with rent being paid because they never signed over the lease to us, right? So the landlord would reach out to them, and that would not get communicated in time, and then we would get $1,000 late fee tacked on, which when you are a small business adds up, right? Yeah. And then
wow, $1,000 late fee is a lot of money, guys, for a fee. I mean, imagine you miss a phone bill, or that's really annoying. It's really annoying, right? Then you charge like a $25 late fee, and that pisses me off. Imagine getting a $1,000 fee, late fee. I would be so pissed off.
Purchased the store on a promissory note, right? We paid a down payment and then monthly payments. And then the royalty fees, those royalty fees, monthly payments, what we were catching up on the rent, all that was coming out of one bank account that corporate did not, they got the notice. I got the notice and called them and said, hey, there's a notice from the bank saying the name on the bank ownership and the name on the store doesn't match, and they're going to freeze the accounts if you don't go in and deal with it. And they said, okay, we'll deal with it. And then I got calls saying, hey, your payments are bouncing because they'd frozen the bank account. And then Ben and I had to go in there in person and figure out, okay, we need to get the bank account unfroze. And
yeah, this is the type of thing you have to look forward to if you want to be a franchise. I think the way that you like destroy Bricks and Minifigs is you just cut off their franchise model. And you just say, this is the worst franchise. This is worse than Quiznos. Quiznos, 90% of franchisees go belly up. 90%. This is, and Quiznos sucks. No, I'm not talking about the sandwich. I'm just talking about the franchise model system. This is perhaps an even worse business of franchise model for a franchisee than Quiznos.
And Ammon's name's off of the account. So meanwhile, I've got payments to vendors and rent payments and royalty payments and promissory note payments bouncing, and then fees tacked on to all of those.
Oh, Lush, whoever runs your Discord, find me and reach out. I'm lost on Discord. I'm there, but lost. Laugh out loud. Yes, we have mods. Are you just called Savvy Turtle? Yeah, reach out to any one of my mods here. They're also mods on Discord. Would love to have you on Discord. Our Discord is very active and very cool. It's like 24/7, like Reckless Ben news. Like, you know, I gotta like start posting about my Pokemon Go stuff because I gotta get like 12 people to join me, probably remote raid pass, so I can battle Mewtwo, or my wife will be very angry. My wife's like, oh, so like, okay, so in Pokemon Go, we need a total of 12 people to battle the Mega Mewtwo. And she's like, oh, why don't we just ask your Discord? Won't the Discord, want to battle the Mega Mewtwo, right? And it was like, I guess,
Like
Should've happened,
we're
'cause
never
in the contract. They were supposed to take care of that before
Yeah.
we took over the store.
So we've never
they-
disputed we've never disputed that there was money owed them.
My understanding is she was never on the lease. She was never on the lease, ever on the lease. Oh, that's our Discord, Savvy Turtle. You can join it, and then like we'll get you set up there.
We've never disputed that. It's right there in our lawsuit. What is also in our lawsuit is all of the money that we owed them was because of things that they had failed to do.
So my wife's like, okay, so you're talking to what? 600 people online. Let's say 10% of them have Pokemon Go accounts. Like, because we have to do this event on the weekend, and we need like 12 people of Mega Pokemon to break the shield. So if you know what Pokemon Go, you know it's kind of tough. You need a remote pass, and then you need to break the shield, and it's all very bad stuff.
Do when they sold us the store, right?
And so again,
So you accumulated this, but it was because of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jules, so you need a Mega Pokemon, and you need something called a remote raid pass, and those are like extremely rare and extremely expensive. So like, I probably have to begin today, Tuesday. I got to start recruiting people onto like our network to do these mega raids.
They had also agreed to take payments to make up for that. They were taking payments from me to make up for those missed stuff.
Oh yeah. My wife is like massively sick. Like, so my wife is super sick right now. Our kid got myself and my wife sick. And I was like, oh man, maybe we shouldn't do the Pokemon Go. It's called Road to the Go Tour. And she's like, no, I already purchased the $20 pass. And I was like, what? And she's still sick today.
And the all of that, which is also the fact that the lease was never signed over, was how they were able to get us out of the store in the first place.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't understand that. They're going, why did you just stay? We didn't have the lease. And Kai even says in the recording.
Okay, yes, they didn't have the lease. So they have just confirmed what I already knew was true. They didn't have the lease. They never had the lease. So therefore, they were kicked out of the store by Bricks and Minifigs.
Yeah.
We still have the lease. That's weird. I don't know why that is.
No. I'll create something in Discord. Don't worry, guys. We can talk about that later in Discord, guys. Yes, we're milking the Lego scandal to get 12 people to join our remote. Well, technically, we don't need 12. We need 10. Because me and my wife, obviously, we have the accounts.
Have them trespass.
We're gonna use that as the mechanism to get you out of your own store.
See, the last relic still had his lease, but they just abandoned the store and left him with all
So the last relic was in an even worse position. He actually was. They just took the store to a different location, and the last relic was on the hook for $500,000 in lease.
Lease payments, and he owed like $500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah.
Because it was a corporate location before we bought it, corporate had the lease. And so they were supposed to reach out to the landlord have the landlord approve.
No, she doesn't really care about Squishmallows anymore. She only cares about Pokemon Go. She gets like so addicted to it. It's like kind of bizarre.
Signing the lease over to us, we signed that paperwork in our franchise agreement. They just never sent it on to the landlord. But then corporate also in that $200,000 that they're in debt, right?
But I think this actually sways the other way, right? Like, no, like Crystal may not be good at business, but there was definitely no malice or, there was no like, see, all she tells is the truth, right? There's a lot of transparency. So I would say this actually goes the other way in terms of like sympathy. Like it definitely makes her more sympathetic.
Claim of they were $200,000 in debt and they wanted to abandon the store and flee the country, right? So you're adding on over $100,000 in fines to that and claiming it's in debt when your termination agreement itself says.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Don't F with justice. The Echo-based network interview is so good. We're still watching it. Like an hour. I mean, I promise you, we're almost done. We have like maybe 4 more minutes, and then we'll.
You hand over the store. We're not going to pursue you for any of that, right? So it's also in our lawsuit that they still have that promissory note. They could call in that promissory note at any time. Part of what is in our franchise agreement is they are supposed to return that promissory note to us and have not. So our attorney is like, they could literally file that and have it, and then have taken everything and still claim we owe them more, right? Even though in their termination agreement, they say, we're going to call this even, right?
But the way they're going to call this even is that super sketchy behavior of like, hey, we've made up fines. We're threatening you with fines. Give us your entire store or else the fines kick in.
That's what they did to Relic.
Yeah, I do say, I agree with BBQ. Ben jumps in so much. I think this story would be, oh, thank you, Don't Afro Justice. I think this story would be much more interesting if it was just Crystal talking about it. But I get it. Ben wants to protect his wife. I would be the same way. I would be exactly like what Ben would be doing. But I think overall as a narrative, because like Ben said this, his perspective on Bricks and Minifigs, his interactions with them are vastly different than Crystal's. Now, I'm not saying Ben's interactions are less valuable, but certainly there's less of them, and they're, as a storytelling mechanic, it would just be interesting to hear from one narrative. Now you're hearing it from, like, both of them, but like I said, Crystal is involved in the day-to-day, Ben is her husband. I don't know how involved with the Lego store Ben was before all of this, right? It seemed like Ben was the one who wanted to move to Spain, and it seemed like Crystal was the one who cared about the community. That's why she did layaway. So there is some dichotomy here, right? Where Crystal seems to really, really care about Legos and her community. And remember, Ben wanted to go to Spain for his own, book and stuff. So, remember, there is, I think it would be interesting to hear just from Crystal from beginning until end. Yes, shout out to Don't F with Justice. She's the first one to with the Tato story. And the Tato story, we are not done covering it yet, guys. We are not done covering it yet. I mean, I just think like Crystal's story would be very different if Ben wasn't there. And I think it would make more sense. It's got community elements. I did layaway because it was good for the community. I think there are components here where like the stories don't 100% line up because I'm not sure how involved he was with Bricks and Minifigs. And he couldn't have loved it that much, right? Because he was going to move to Spain. So, on one hand, you have Crystal saying, I love my community, I've done all this stuff, I've done free events, I'm doing layaway, I have Brian Menzel and his family come over, I love my employee. On the other hand, Ben is moving the family to Spain for unrelated to Crystal's community or Lego. So, like I said, it is two different stories if you listen closely.
We also have Kai on the phone that night saying, you reached out to us to sell the store.
Yeah, they know for a fact we were not going to abandon it. They know
we weren't going to abandon it.
So
we have Kai on the phone saying...
There's nothing wrong with Ben defending it just makes it a murkier narrative. It just makes it kind of more muddy than if one person were able to... yes, thank you, Jeff. Yes, I know. I've gotten a lot of comments. Reckless Ben was actually in chat just saying hi.
We're going to declare bankruptcy or abandon the store.
Yeah.
Not only is that not true, but they knew it was not true.
Yeah,
when they
on the phone saying you guys wanted to sell the store, and so we just feel like this is the best way to go about
that. That one I'll go out, a little more on a limb and say that is just a lie.
Yeah,
like that. They can say you're defaming us, and I will say here is your employee recorded on audio saying that he was aware that we were interested in selling the store.
And the whole reason why we wanted to move the store, like the whole reason why we wanted to sell the store, is because we planned to move.
Okay, so my audio.
Like, it's not like we were going to abandon the store, or some of what I've heard is that we stole Brian's Legos and then fled the country. Yeah, but like, do you have any idea how much it would have cost to get that size of a collection to Europe?
To Spain?
And Brian Mantell has never even come within a million yards of saying something like that.
It took us $4,000 to get our dogs to Europe. Right? Our tiny 30-pound dogs. Our 90-pound dog. Can you imagine?
Yeah, boxes of Lego. We did not take any boxes of Lego to Europe.
Ugh.
So, do you guys know of any other stores that's been taken over by Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson?
No.
Do you? I don't.
I don't.
Well, I mean, the ones we know of that were taken over, we don't know if they were taken over by them. We don't
Gotcha.
know.
Well-
Who was responsible?
So we know the one in Lutz, Florida was.
Not
Yeah.
entirely. Three of them had never interacted with Brandon or Josh. One of them had interacted with Josh. And then, yeah.
So this pattern may predate Brandon and Josh.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So people online, guys, are using the term franchise churning.
I never heard this until until after I posted my video. People were like, that sounds like franchise churn.
Yeah. That's what I used. That's I don't know. We were the first ones, but we jumped on this real fast, right? We jumped on this really fast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And we're getting comments turn. So just in case that's new to people watching the interview, it's a predatory business practice where a franchisor intentionally hastens the failure of a franchisee in order to seize the location or terminate the agreement
and all the assets.
Yeah.
They're taking the assets.
And it sounds to me like
familiar.
the very fact that there's a name for it and that it is against the law means this is like the kind of thing where somebody could like research the scam. Like this is an established scam in the same way we know what a pyramid scheme is, right?
But you also
franchise churn is a thing, and I'd never heard of it before, and I'm like, oh, now I know what to call the thing that we very well may be a victim of.
So that's the question.
Thank you, Master Modi, for the raid. We welcome all the Master Modis. Now, we're almost done here, so I don't know who else we're going to raid. I know we normally do raid Master Modi, but we'll have another raid set up for someone. Oh, hey, Master Modi. How are you? Yeah, so Part 3 has released on the Patreon. Should be a very fun watch. But we'll go raid somebody else very soon who's live. If BJC is live, we'll raid her. I don't know who else is live right now.
Do you think that term fits what you have kind of experienced, in your opinion?
I believe at this point we'll decline to comment on that.
We can say that our personal experience is consistent with what is described when people describe the experience of a franchisee who experiences franchise.
So I love Crystal's like, oh, we just can't talk about that. And Ben's like, well, let's talk about that. So it's like, our experiences have been similar to those in
But we can only speak to our experience.
I will say somebody has made online every single franchise disclosure document available going all the way back.
Oh, wow.
And it would be really interesting if somebody out there on the internet
Yes.
went through.
That's you guys. That's you guys. Somebody out there on the internet. That's you guys, Discord.
Looked at all the locations to see how often a location changed hands.
Oh, yeah, that would be
That's
interesting.
listed in every franchise disclosure document.
Oh, yeah, that would be quite interesting. Yeah, you go through the record history. Kind of like what BBQ did with the financials. But instead of doing the financials, you did the how many times it disclosed. Oh, BBQ says, okay. Yeah, BBQ says, I have all the FDDs. So BBQ could do that if he wanted to.
The stores that changed hands in 2023, between 2023 and 2024, and 2024 and 2025 in particular, are very interesting. The rate of failure is suspiciously high, from my understanding of statistically speaking.
Yeah, and a lot of people online right now are calling for the FBI and Cash Patel and them to get involved and investigate them.
Yes, Cash Patel.
So one store looks like it could be isolated. It's one.
Yeah.
But two stores, okay, I got some questions.
Okay.
And now 3 stores, I think we have a pattern here. And now what you guys are telling me is the number 7.
The number is 7 right now. Oh my God, the number is 7 right now.
Right.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So that is definitely an interesting way to look at this. And we're going to see, I mean, guys, this could blow up into an even bigger, much bigger ordeal.
Right.
Oh,
than
I
what's
agree.
happened with you guys, what's happened with Brian Mansell and his Lego collection. This could be something way bigger than that, because it looks like if there's more revealed there, ooh, if franchise turning is really happening, if 37 stores come forward saying, look what happened to us from this corporation.
No, that's even worse than Deshaun Watson. If 34 people come, what Deshaun Watson settled for, like, what, 21? I only know Deshaun Watson because he's our local hero. Not anymore, but how many times? What was it? 27. Oh my God. That's I thought it was only 21. Wow, 27. That's crazy.
Man, that is going to be an interesting tale to watch unfold.
I'd also be really hesitant if I feel bad for the franchise locations that haven't even opened yet, right? That have signed their agreements and are locked in.
Yeah, they signed a 10-year agreement, and they're watching this phone, and they're like, oh, this is not good. So they signed pen to ink a 10-year agreement, because that's what the agreements are now. They haven't even built their own bricks and mini. There are people in that position. There are people in that position right now.
I mean, Nick, you were talking earlier about, like, why don't more former owners, right?
Yeah,
We're saying the same thing about, like, why aren't franchises stepping away from the brand, right? Like, there's a reason. You're facing fines, right? Imagine going into debt, $50,000, $100,000 to buy your store, and then saying, okay, we're going to come in and now you owe us all of that, plus we're going to double it in fines. And shut you down, right? And then force you into an NDA and force you to spend a couple $100,000 on attorney's fees and all that. I have all the sympathy, like I have sympathy for all the franchise owners. I imagine there are a lot of people that are waiting to see what happens to us. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Because as far as I am aware right now, we are the only people that are suing Bricks and Minifigs corporate.
Yeah.
So that's actually
if they win, more people will come out and sue. It's kind of like Deshaun Watson. Because he settled with one, he had to settle with all of them. How many did Deshaun Watson actually settle with? So there's 27 lawsuits. So there's 27 lawsuits. He settled with, or I guess with 20 out of 24. Yeah, that's not great. But yeah, shout out to Echo Base Network for a great interview. Give them a subscribe. Give them a like. Looks like they have their own Patreon as well. And yeah, fantastic interview that they did with Crystal Law and Ben Gorman. So, okay, guys. I think that is it. Oh, good friend, Last Relic. Okay, that is it. Now we'll talk about the Pokemon Go. I will be uploading it on Discord when I have a chance. I'm going to go eat. I'm quite hungry as normal. I'm quite hungry. Let me see my Discord. Anything interesting happen? It always goes back to there. General. Okay, what's happening? I probably shouldn't be scrolling. I don't know what is on my Discord. Okay. Interesting stuff. Oh, there's BBQ on Discord. So if you guys want to talk to BBQ, he is on Discord. Yeah, I'm going to probably take a break, play some Pokemon Go tonight. But I'll be back on Discord tonight after I play Pokemon Go, I guess. Yeah, give them a subscribe, give them a like, and yeah, great interview. Oh, so we'll see you there, Savvy Turtle. So we have multiple channels, but we do have a Reckless Ben specific channel that you can join, and BBQ's there as well. So we'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys for spending the time with us, and I look forward to tomorrow. I also have to watch the video, so there's a lot of things I have to do tonight. So I may not be on Discord until late. But I do check Discord before I go to bed. But anyway, have a great time watching the video if you haven't watched the video yet. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow to potentially talk about the video. Bye, guys.